A 17 sports special, the Golden Empire Gridiron Game of the Week from Memorial Stadium on the campus of Bakersfield College. This is Renegade Football.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome inside Memorial Stadium here, Bakersfield College, as the Renegades get ready to kick off another season of football. I'm Jason Galvin. Good to have you with us. BC getting ready to take on Allan Hancock here in their season opener, and it is a hot one. They moved the start of this game back 2 hours from 6 to 8 o'clock because of the heat, but the sun is down now, and the teams are ready to go. Let's bring in the man that'll do the analysis tonight, Chad Manning, a former Bakersfield College Renegade here, and a Purdue Boilermaker back in here time. Jeff Chudy, the head coach at BC, has had some good teams in the past. A little down last year. They finished the year on a 3-game losing streak, but he is really excited about this team.
Yeah, it's tough to do coming off of a 6-5 record, but he's really excited about this team. I know Coach well, and he was so pumped up about the season. He's got a lot of team speed. They're looking to create some matchups tonight and really have a good ball game.
They've got some big players coming back, which is kind of a change from the past. You look at guys like Jaquel Tomlin on offense, Lamicio Hill, the running back. You look at Terrell Eddington on defense, big playmakers, but the question has been all summer, who's going to be the man that leads this team under center? Tonight, we're going to get a chance to see the two candidates that separated themselves from the pack.
Yeah, they had a nice quarterback battle in camp. Looks like tonight we got word that Cesar De Leon out of Centennial High School, the sophomore, is going to start under center. And then so far in the first quarter sometime, we're going to get Brandon Jones, a BCHS via Ventura, via San Diego State transfer back to the Renegades.
Brandon Jones has not played here in Bakersfield in a couple of years, but was very good at BCHS as well. Going to be exciting to see what those two quarterbacks can do and what this team can do. It's a warm one, but we are ready to go, and we are back with kickoff. Bakersfield College and Allan Hancock, the season opener, is live on KGET.
Renegade Football, sponsored by Bakersfield College.
And welcome back inside of Renegade Memorial Stadium here, Renegade Football Live. We are getting close to kickoff here. We have been delayed a little bit. We just finished the coin toss. Bakersfield College gets their first win of the season. They win the coin toss. They have deferred to the second half, so Allan Hancock will start with the ball. I'm Jason Galvin. He is Chad Manning, a former Renegade offensive lineman, and this is a big night for BC. I talked to Coach Chudy on Thursday, Chad. He said this is a chance to build momentum for the season.
Yeah, he's pumped. He's really pumped about this Renegade team, and this is their first test, and we'll see what they got tonight.
We are likely going to have to pause here for a few seconds because of the national anthem. We, like I said, just finished kickoff, and we are going to have to take the national anthem now. Waiting for the college here to get the national anthem ready. Color guard is now walking out onto the field. Again, we've had some weather in the area that has delayed the start of this game. There was some lightning, a thunderstorm blew through. It rained a little bit here. It's been an eventful evening. Happens when KGT shows at Memorial Stadium. If you recall, we did the Condors Town Outdoor Classic, and it poured during a hockey game as well. So the color guard marching out onto the field right now, and we will get ready for the national anthem, and then we'll be underway. And there we are, ready to go. The cannon fires off. They tested it earlier. An interesting note from Tabatha Mills about the cannon this year. Coming up here in just a little bit, Tabatha Mills will be down on the sideline with us here tonight, and she'll join us a little bit into the first quarter. Again, Bakersfield College has won the toss and deferred to the second half. That means they'll play defense. We'll get to see that defense coordinated by Reggie Bolton, and it is an aggressive defense if you've never seen the Renegades play ball before, so we get to see them on the field first. Out to return the kick here for Allan Hancock. Deep is Caleb Monette, number 8, as well as number 82, and that is Daniel Giroux. And we are ready to go with football here at Memorial Stadium, the Bakersfield College season opener. Live on KGET. If you're with us online, kerngoldenempire.com. We are also streaming this. Tell your family and friends around the country they can tune in to kick off for the Renegades. They've changed some numbers around, so checking on that here for the Renegades. This will be Abraham Katonia, who's doing the kicking on kickoffs tonight. He will not be the field goal kicker, though. Katonia's got the bigger arm. They're going to go with Aldo Gonzalez on field goals, though. So says the coaching staff. And here we go. Katonia will send it deep. And the Bakersfield College season is underway, and this one will be taken and dropped out of the end zone. Now picked up to the 10-15, knocked out of bounds just before that.
Yeah, Katonia's that kicker. He came to us from Tehachapi High School. He's brought this Tehachapi weather with him, Jason. Had the wind at his back and was up there knuckling around. And it was a little tough for that the kick returner to field that ball cleanly. And that's a great start for the Renegades. Got them backed up inside their own, looks like, 11-yard line.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 11. Got to wonder why you would return that, but it's another conversation, I guess. And here comes the Renegades defense, and with it, the Allan Hancock offense, and it's a sophomore, Jimmy Keller, 6'3", 205 pounds, under center here for Allan Hancock. This is a traditional power running team, and their first play is off the left side and goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, he got stuffed by big old number 77, Tyrell Eddington there. You're going to see a lot of that tonight. Tyrell's the stud on that defensive line. He's going to bring a lot of pressure. It's going to take more than one person to block him. So when you get 2 offensive linemen stuck on 1 down lineman, frees up the linebackers to make some plays, and that's exactly what happened there. Good job by that D-line.
Raheem Skinner is the starting tailback for Allan Hancock, a 5'9", 215-pound freshman. This is, like I said, a throwback football team. Jeff Chudy said this game's kind of a throwaway for his team as far as what the rest of the year has, and there's a false start. Came off the right side of the line there. Looked like it was the tight end off the right side for Allan Hancock. Coach Chudy told me, Chad, he said this game, in all honesty, it's good evaluation for his players, but it's kind of a throwaway for what it means for the rest of the season because they're going to play 10 games plus a bowl, hopefully, right? Maybe even more if the season goes as planned for them. This is the only team they're going to see all year that wants to play football like it's the 70s.
Yeah, and it's kind of a throwback to the old Renegade teams of the past, but we're familiar with this kind of offense up here. The coaching staff knows how to defend it, so I think it's going to be a good test for those interior guys tonight.
Keller will hand off straight up the middle, a decent gain that time. That was Skinner. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and long.
You know, the Renegades are going to have to bring 8 guys into the box to defend this this offense, and that makes them susceptible to the play-action pass and that pass down the field. So if these corners get a little sleepy on this offense, they could be in trouble. So it's really important that even though they're out here on an island by themselves, they stay attentive.
Coach Bolton talked about what's the goal for the defense this year. He said, well, we either want 3 and outs or turnovers on every drive. Here's a chance to get a 3 and out on the play fake, rolling and throwing and completing the flat, but falling down short. And that was complete to Kevin Stark, the fullback who'd leaked out of the backfield, but it will be short of the 1st down, and we're going to see a punt unit.
Yeah, one of the few things that you can do as an offense in that set is roll out passes. They're going to see a lot of bootlegs and a lot of naked end and bootlegs on this deal. And that's exactly what we saw there. So a good job and a good start to the season for the Renegade defense. They flew around, lots of hustle. Now see if we can't get a punt return and get some good field position for our offense.
Deep to return the punt is Jaquel Tomlin, and we will talk about him in just a second here. Tomlin is the team's leading returner from a receiving standpoint last year. This punt is away. It's going to bounce, and Tomlin's going to let it go smartly, and it will set up BC with good field position, though. They'll start at their own 44.
Yeah, there's a lot of wind whipping in this field tonight, Jason, and so it's going to make it pretty tough on these returners. They're going to have to be smart, and if that ball's, if they can't field it cleanly, get away from it just like they did here. Let your offense start where the ball lands here on the 45-yard line and see what we can do.
Well, we talked about it in pregame, Chad. Under center for the Renegades here, it will be Cesar De Leon taking the start for Bakersfield College, a Centennial High School product, 6'1", 185. He started in the second half of the season last year, and he'll take the first snap for the Renegades in 2017. It's a play fake and a quick throw out into the flat, falls incomplete.
Yeah, what you saw there was some pressure from the linebackers, and talking to Coach Carl Dean, that's what they're afraid of. Hancock loves to pressure the quarterback, and they're going to bring pressure from the linebackers, from the outside, from the inside. And these offensive linemen, it's a young offensive line. They're going to have to get their stuff together real quick because they've got to give their quarterback time to throw the ball.
2nd down and 10. De Leon with Elisha Ortiz. Will hand it off, and Ortiz is stopped right away. Some great pressure in the backfield from Hancock. The first player there for the Bulldogs was Seth Olise, number 42, a freshman defensive end out of Santa Maria.
You know, Jason, even though De Leon had the experience from last season, he didn't come into this season as the guaranteed starter. He had to fight for it and earn it in camp, and he had a nice battle with Brandon Jones, and here he is under center for the first series tonight, and that's a tribute to a nice hard summer and a good job.
Well, we're going to get some movement there. The far side defensive end jumped for Hancock. Then the right tackle for the Renegades jumped. It should be offsides here, and it is. A 5-yard penalty will move the Renegades up. They'll cross midfield thanks to that penalty. Looking at the starters for the Renegades up front, Caden Cox at left tackle, Jared Diaz is the left guard, Cody Watts under center, or is at center, Quentin Cheevers the right guard, Jaron Marshall's the right tackle, Jaquel Tomlin's the big receiver out wide for the Renegades. They've got plenty of options to spread around to. Ortiz in the backfield, and De Leon will throw on 3rd and 5. A quick throw is complete to one of their biggest receivers. That is Jeffrey Jones, a returning tight end, 6'5", 220 pounds, and it looks like they'll move the chains.
Yeah, what the Renegades are going to focus on doing tonight, Jason, is spreading the field and creating matchups. And what you have there is a 6'6" receiver on a much shorter defender, and that's the matchup that we're looking for. So we're going to have matchups where our speed's going to beat the defense. We're going to have matchups where our size is going to beat the defense. And right there is where our size took advantage. We took advantage of our size for a nice first down conversion.
A 6-yard completion. This is a handoff off the right side. Big hole for Ortiz, who cuts back across the 35. And Elisha Ortiz immediately establishes himself in this football game.
Coach Carl Dean, he's the offensive coordinator, been up here for years. He was one of my quarterbacks when I was up here. Great guy, great coach, and he says, I got to get the ball to number 1. And that's what he did right there, and you can see why. Nice explosive moves.
Ortiz beat out Lamicio Hill for the starting job because of his explosiveness. This time he's tripped up. Great penetration by Allan Hancock. That was number 7, Tapuli Asutau, a linebacker who split the A-gap and brought Ortiz down for a loss.
I don't want Renegade fans to be confused just because they see number 1 in the backfield. That's not Derek Vickers.
Right.
Derek Vickers is gone. This is our new number 1, Elijah, and he's going to be something special to watch also.
Coach Chudy said this is our number 1. He's going to be our number 1 all year as well. And he meant that in the most complimentary way. De Leon out of the shotgun with Ortiz to his left, will throw, looks right side. That ball is diving and caught, looking for a number, and that is number 18 for the Renegades. And that is Chance Cooper, a freshman out of Highland High School, an explosive threat when he played at Highland.
Yeah, you got a lot of talent on this offense, and a lot of it is local, and that's what's really fun for me as a Renegade fan to watch is these high school players come up here and develop their skills up here on the hill, and we got a lot of good talent up here from Bakersfield this year.
De Leon in the gun. It's 3rd down and about 4. A long 4 at that. He'll throw again over the middle. That is broken up and nearly intercepted. And he was looking for Cameron Roberson, another freshman out of Garces. It falls incomplete.
Yeah, a lot of quick passes. Spread them out, making slants, and trying to complete the passes. Unfortunately there, the guy had good coverage and made a nice play on the ball.
Gades are going to go for it here. It's 4th down and about 4. De Leon moves Ortiz over, takes a look. Will they try to draw him off sides? They will. Now look back to the sideline. What will Coach Chudy do? Coach Chudy looking around says, we're going to go for it. Why not? 4th and 4. being aggressive. Here's a throw, going fade far sideline. Tomlin, it's overthrown out of bounds, and the Renegades will turn it over on downs.
Yeah, we broke coverage there on the offensive line. We didn't count for that middle linebacker that walked up and really started to apply pressure right from the get-go. De Leon really didn't have a chance to make a good throw on that ball, and as a result, an incomplete pass.
So Hancock will take over on their own 25 with 10:09 remaining here in the first quarter. Both teams failed to put any points on the board in their opening drives of the season. Hancock went 3 and out and punted with a penalty in there. BC on 4th down turns it over.
Yeah, coming out of that first series, going to have to get a little, tighten it up on that offensive line. They'll go over here on the sideline, talk it up a little bit, and make some adjustments.
This is a run right up the middle for Allan Hancock. That was some little extracurricular activity happening on the outside of the play there.
Yeah, first game of the season, we got some guys fired up, putting people on their backs. That's good to see.
Raheem Skinner took that one right up the middle. Tackle went to 55. Justin Holmes, a sophomore out of Liberty. Fantastic player in his day at Liberty High School as well. That was a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, Justin was one of those players that Coach Chudy's really high about and said, make sure we're watching him tonight. He's going to make a lot of plays on the ball. Just like Tyrell Eddington there in the backfield.
Tyrell Eddington is so good, and if we can, we have a little bit of information on Tyrell Eddington in his fantastic season last year, setting the tone for the Renegades. He was a first-team all-conference player, 34 tackles last year, 5 of them for a loss. You think to yourself, well, that doesn't sound like a lot, right? He didn't have a sack, but for somebody who is 6'3" and well over 300 pounds up the middle, to be in the backfield that much says something.
Looks like a Volkswagen Bug when you're standing next to him. He's big, tall, wide guy, and really low center of gravity. It can cause a lot of havoc on that defensive line.
3rd and 3, and it looks like Hancock might have just gotten to where they needed to, although judging by the spot on the far side here and looking at our monitor, might be about a yard short. So it sets up an interesting conundrum here for Allan Hancock, and they are riding Raheem Skinner right now.
Yeah, that defense is going to have their hands full. Antelope Valley. Allan Hancock is going to come out here and pound. That's the name of their game.
And they're going to punt here.
It looks like they are going to punt.
So the Renegades defense doing its job early on. A pair of 3 and outs in this one. Punting for Hancock is Jordan Pollard. Back deep to return this kick is Jaquel Tomlin. The punt, I should say, and there's a flag. All sorts of flags came out of the backfield. Too many men on the field, perhaps, Chad?
Yeah, we got one too many. The Gades have got 12 guys on the field.
Oh, that's a tough. Just as we talk about BC doing its job and getting off the field, there's something Coach Chudy talked about a lot on Thursday when I sat down with him as well. I know you sat down with him earlier in the week, probably said the same thing. We can't beat ourselves.
Yeah, and that's the kind of mistake that just cannot have. The defense does a good job, gets that offense off the field, that ball control, time offense off the field, and then we make a silly mistake like that, too many players on the field. But you're going to have those kind of mistakes, Jason. It's the first game of the season. People can't remember if they're on the team or off the team. Coaches are having trouble, getting used to getting in the groove. And so we'll chalk that up as a mistake, and maybe the defense can hold them here again.
All right, so Hancock back out, and they will throw the ball looking deep down the field on a fade. All sorts of contact and a flag, and we're going to get a pass interference. And another big chunk of yardage here for Allan Hancock.
Well, that ball was nowhere near being able to be caught. They were playing a little hand slap there, but I think that that's a little ticky-tack on that call there.
The Renegades did play Allan Hancock last year in the season opener, and they beat them in a close and low-scoring game. It was a field goal game. We mentioned in the pregame, BC ended the year on a 3-game losing streak to finish 6-5. Hancock ended the year on a 3-game winning streak, and they outscored their opponents 128-33 in those 3 games, but there's not a lot of experience that has returned here for the Bulldogs this year, as Keller goes under center again, lined up in a jumbo formation, and a quick slant is overthrown, and boy, they had a lot of room inside there, as Christian Brown had left a lot of space underneath for Hancock, unable to get the ball to Nick Kimball, and that's their leading returning receiver.
Yeah, throwing the ball is not Hancock's strength, so if we can force them into those throws, that's our strength. Out there on our corners, we got 5 corners on this football team that are outstanding, and they'll match up really well man-to-man out there on the island, and they can hold their own.
Keller 1 of 2 in this game, will hand it back off and right up the middle. Skinner just continues to get the ball. He picks up 3 on that one, and it's going to be 3rd and long again, and we'll see if the Renegades can get off the field.
Yeah, last time they were in this situation, third and long in their own end zone, we saw a bootleg pass. Quarterback try to hit the hitch route, and it didn't really go, but we'll see what they got here.
It'll be 3rd and 5 after the spot. Looks like Skinner stumbled forward before his elbow went down, and again they'll go under center. And this is a handoff, and right up the middle and stuffed that time.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Lined up in ISO, gave it to the tailback there. The fullback was up through the hole. Fullback got stuffed in his tracks, and the running back didn't have anywhere to go. So great job by the Renegade defensive front there.
And so now we'll see if we can get a punt here with 6:30 left in the first quarter. Almost 10 minutes into this one. Pollard will get the punt away, and it is a knuckler to the near side and out of bounds. We'll see where they mark that. Always hard to tell where that goes out at. And survey says great field position for the Gades again, all the way up at the 29, 30-yard line.
Fair shot. Really excited about this season, Jason. This is going to be a good season for the Renegades. They had a little rough go of it last year. It was a tough start and a tough finish. Had some good talent and some fun guys to watch, but this season is going to be something special, and I got to encourage our Renegade fans at home. Get out here and support these guys. Yeah. Get in the stands. It's a great experience for the family, and I promise you, a great time.
Say, I'll give everybody a pass tonight, Chad. It was well over 100 degrees at kickoff at 8 o'clock as Elisha Ortiz takes it off the right side before he's brought down by a gang of Bulldogs and a couple of yards on that gain.
Yeah, we had 100 degrees and a wind. It was like a hairdryer blowing in your face, and then the rain came, so it was like somebody was putting a hairdryer in your face, and it was melting an ice cube over the top of your head. It was the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen. But it's nice and steamy now.
It is, yes. Renegades had an 8-play drive, took them inside the 25-yard line, and then they stalled out and turned the ball over on downs. That was going to be a fly sweep to Cam Roberson. Instead, it gets whistled dead. Let me tell you something about Cam Roberson. Chad, you and I did a game last year, Garces and Frontier, and every time Cam Roberson touched the football, it seemed like he was 20 yards downfield before anybody could blink.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, and really excited to have him up here on the Renegade program. And I know the Renegade coaches have got big plans for him and get him the ball and see what he can do.
We had a penalty for a false start. It's going to make it 2nd down and 14. A little bit windy here still. De Leon will throw, and a great catch by Jaquel Tomlin, who slides through for a 1st down. That ball was nearly going to the house for Hancock, and Cesar De Leon threaded the needle for a 1st down.
Hancock faked the pressure there. They didn't bring it. The offensive line did a great job blocking the front, gave De Leon time to complete the pass, and right in the breadbasket for a nice gain.
That's a gain of 17. Jaquel Tomlin's first catch of the season. He was fantastic last year for the Renegades. He was their 2nd leading receiver behind Mr. Do-Everything, Derek Vickers. And this will be a handoff to Ortiz, left side, brought down immediately as the blocking didn't hold up on that one.
Yeah, we got a good front. This Hancock defensive line, they're not that big, but they're tall and they're lanky, and they got long arms, and those arms right there is what caused that stop. So they didn't quite move their foot in the hole, but they were able to reach out there and knock Elijah down. He's not a big guy, so he can go down fairly easily.
Elisha's got 5 carries for 14 yards, but he also has a 14-yard run, so that should tell you where the other 4 have gone. This is going to be a dead play. The 2nd time Hancock has jumped off.
Yeah, that outside backer that walks up over there, or defensive end or whatever you want to call him, depends on the front. He's anxious. That's probably his at least his 2nd penalty, but at least the 4th time that I've seen him start a little bit early.
5-yard penalty takes it to the 48. This will be the 5th play of the drive for the Renegades.
He's up against Caden Cox, a freshman offensive lineman who's got really good feet. And so that's probably the reason why he's having to jump early, is because he's trying to get around Caden. Caden's not letting him. So
De Leon tried to swing it out to Ortiz. He overthrew him, and that's a shame because everybody on Hancock had bailed inside with Jaquel Tomlin. And if Elijah Ortiz got on the edge like that, that could have been something special. Cesar De Leon, 3 of 6 so far in this game. just over 30 yards. Gage trying to get it across the 50. It's 3rd down and 5. They go quick screen. Cam Roberson makes a move. Cam Roberson hurdles 30, 20. Cam Roberson inside the 5, dives, touchdown, Renegades.
That a baby. Man, what a beautiful play. Started with the quick bubble screen. Out to the side, we had an offensive lineman 15 yards down the field legally because the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Out there, made a cut block on the cornerback, sprung him for a touchdown. I love to see the big guys out there downfield making blocks.
Second catch of the night for Cam Roberson, 52 yards and his first touchdown as a Bakersfield College Renegade puts BC on the board. And now we'll see Aldo Gonzalez, a kicker freshman out of Foothill High School in Mexicali, Mexico, making his BC debut, and he puts that one right through the uprights, and the Renegades lead this one 7-0.
Hey, I got to call out the big ugly, and we don't have a replay here, but I'm pretty sure it was the left guard, number 66, Blake Brown, who made that play out there on the cornerback, leading the receiver. He's 15 yards down the field and made a nice cut block. That's just awesome to see.
Renegades touchdown comes on the 6th play of its drive that started at the 30-yard line and took 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Cam Roberson on 3rd and long takes the bubble screen and does exactly what you want your speedster to do. Got into space and turned it into a track meet. And Coach Chudy said, if we get into a track meet, we're not going to lose. And so far, looking very, very much like a prophet at this point in the game, Chad.
Yeah, that's one of the matchups they wanted to create, obviously. They got to get the ball in the hands of the speed, and they did exactly that. Nicely executed, great blocks all across the board, and a good job running the ball and smelling the end zone. You hate for those guys to get tackled on the 5-yard line after a play like that. He did a great job of smelling that end zone line and getting in there for the score.
And a great job, by the way, we should say, for the Renegades to overcome some adversity there. They had a bad penalty that extended a drive, followed by a pass interference. The defense buckled down, got off the field. BC took a penalty on offense and still recovered to score a touchdown. You're going to see mistakes from a young team in week 1, but nice to see them overcome them.
It sure is. And a 3rd and 5 play right there that results in a 50-yard touch scoring play. Got to love it.
Here's the kick from Katona. This one is deep down the far sideline again, taken from inside the 10 and brought back out, and a lot of space here for Hancock. That is Manahan. Manahan still on his feet and brought down out near the 45-yard line. A great return.
Yeah, and you run that risk anytime you kick into one side of the field. You run the risk of being able to be returned because everybody squeezes into the ball. Hancock had a nice wall set up out here. The return guy got to the opposite side of the field, picked up his blockers, and got the ball on the 45-yard line.
We'll see if Hancock can do anything with it. So far, Allan Hancock has not done a nice job of moving this football. They had a 4-yard drive that resulted in a punt and a 10-yard drive that was aided by some penalties before they had to punt yet again. And this is the first play, and right up the middle and going nowhere is Skinner.
Yeah, nice job getting stuffed in the backfield. Again, I think that was Ernest Harris that did that, but can't quite tell. It might have been number 25, Desmond Ramseur. But either way, great play in the backfield, making a play on the running back. Got to be careful of these corners. They don't want to get lulled into this run. This play action can come on them quick.
2nd down and 10. Looking, throwing, taking a shot deep down the field, and another flag. That was Kimball, who had separated a little bit from Christian Brown. Brown, who was an all-conference first-teamer last year, draws the penalty.
Yeah, Brown got a little bit, got his eyes in the backfield a little bit there, I think, and he was beat. And then when you're beat, you have to make penalties like that to keep a guy from scoring. I don't know that he would have caught the ball, but anyway, it was a penalty to keep him. It's not a spot foul. It's a 10-yard penalty. So all in all, it could have been a good defensive play by the DB there.
Penalties canceling out. There was a holding call in the backfield. I did not see that flag, Chad. So
I didn't either.
Penalties will cancel out. BC gets a little bit of a lucky charm on that one.
So it was a great play by the cornerback.
He must have heard. Somebody said there was a flag.
But that's one of those play-action passes that you can get lulled to sleep in this offense. This offense can lull you to sleep if you're a cornerback, and you got to be aware of that.
There's a handoff right up the middle and a big-time hit.
That's Grant Bryce, a DB freshman. That's what 185 pounds out of Liberty looks like, stuffing a running back in the hole. Good job, Grant.
That was Kevin Miller, the backup running back. And he got a gain of 5 on his first carry of the ball game.
Coach Chudy's really excited about the DBs because he's got a lot of them, and he can cycle them in and out and keep them fresh. And that's going to be really important as we get later on into the season.
Back to throw now. It's a handoff on a draw and lit up. Tyrell Eddington just destroyed the ball carrier for Hancock. There are hands up everywhere. And that was Miller again who got destroyed.
And that's what 305 pounds out of East High looks like.
Man.
He does a great job moving that 305 pounds, making plays. Big Tyrell, good job.
And the Renegades were offsides on that play, Chad, so they're going to negate an enormous play, it looks like, and instead hand Hancock a first down. That hurts.
Yeah, it does, but it doesn't hurt as bad as,
the hit.
As the hit. Okay, regroup, Gates.
A timeout on the field.
Yeah, I think they got the box wrong. It's got third down at 10.
It does have third down. It should definitely be first down.
I'm sitting here in September sweating, and like really sweating, Jason. And all I can think about is my football coach, Tom Freeman. He's from Bakersfield, but I had him at Purdue, and anytime it would be hot at practice and we'd be sweating like this, he'd look you in the eye and say, you know what? It's snowing in Utah.
I think Purdue was better than Utah back then, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. My buddy Rick Tucker was from up here. He was a tight end up here at Bakersfield College. He went to University of Utah, and they had some really good years there. Played in the Freedom Bowl down in San Diego, and they had a good run there.
There's 2:23 left here in the quarter. Closing in on the end of the first quarter. We got a report here, by the way, from 17's Tabatha Mills. We mentioned we'd be hearing from her. It's got an interesting little tidbit. After the cannon went off for the first time this year, if that scared you at home, sorry, but every time BC scores, that's going to go off. Do they do it at the end of the quarters too, Chad?
They do it at every end of the quarter, every score.
Well, if we have it our way, we'll hear a lot of cannons tonight. But well, 1st and 10 and a little quarterback keeper, and that fooled nobody. Tyrell Eddington has to have 5 or 6 tackles in this game already. He has been everywhere.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job freeing up those linebackers too. He is causing havoc on that offensive line. Those guys are not happy. They're yelling at each other. Their coach is yelling at them. And good job, Tyrell.
Jimmy Keller, by the way, I still have him down as 1 for 2 for 4 yards. I got to keep my own stats until I get an update at the end of the quarter. But every time he's throwing the ball, there's been a penalty that's taken it away, it feels like. So here's Keller again with 2 backs in the backfield and a new tailback deep. Well, that play didn't work. Keller's got to keep it himself and still found a way to get some yards. Nice job on the tackle there for the Renegades. That was number 35, James Thomas, the freshman backer out of Independence High, who saved a pretty big gain on what was a broken play.
It was definitely a busted play. You know, anytime you got 2nd and long, you're forced into formations that you don't really like to use. And obviously Hancock wasn't comfortable with that formation. They made a mistake. But a nice busted play for them. They did pick up 8 yards.
3rd down and 2 coming. The new tailback for Hancock, by the way, was Alex Chechi, who did not start this game but was a big player for them last year. Now they'll hand it off to Miller, and Miller gets hit hard on the 2nd level, but it looks like he's got enough for a first down.
Yeah, that 2nd effort, he did a nice job driving his legs there. That 2nd effort got him the first down.
That was actually Isaac Bosley who came in. Well, Hancock's got a lot, and I mean a lot of running backs they're going to rotate in this one.
Yeah, taking out the D-line, they're going to give them a breather here. We're going to get a lot of this ground and pound now that we're inside. This goal line offense is now getting ready to get into the goal line, so I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot of the same.
Another handoff and some more yardage here for Hancock, just a couple.
Yeah, the running back did a good job of falling forward there. He was definitely stopped in the backfield, but he kept his feet running, kept a low center of gravity, and was able to pick up 2 yards instead of a loss of 1.
19 seconds left here. And we'll see if Hancock tries to run another play or if we're going to take it into the quarter. They are lined up. They do have time, 10 seconds. Counting down. Keller now looks up. I think realizes how much time is left. Gets under center and will run a play. He'll play fake. Looking to throw. He's dropping. Throws across his body towards the end zone. Intercepted! Christian Brown with an awful decision from Keller on that one to throw across his body at an all-conference corner, and that's how the first quarter ends, on an interception.
Yeah, that's that goes against schoolyard football 101. Never roll out to one side and throw across your body, because the ball is not going to have the momentum that you need on it. It's going to be a duck. Great job going at the highest point there by Christian and taking that ball out of the receiver's hands, making a nice play for an interception.
Gades lead 7-0. Back with the second quarter after this.
Renegade Football, sponsored by Bakersfield College.
And we're back here at Bakersfield College Memorial Stadium, second quarter getting underway here, and Brandon Jones making his debut for the Renegades under center. And on his first play, he'll hand it off, and that's a quick run off the right side and a short gain for BC. Let's send it down to Tabatha Mills with some more on the cannon blast there in the first quarter. Tab?
Yeah, it's a changing of the times over here at the BC Cannon this year, as John Nedvigi, who's been doing it since 1972, he's stepping aside, and there's a new woman at the helm. Her name is Courtney Carter. And a fun fact about Courtney, she used to shoot off Civil War cannons with her grandpa just for fun. So she's very excited to be here at BC and to be shooting off that cannon right there. And she's hoping for a lot of scores tonight, a lot of touchdowns, so she can get some good practice in on this first game. Jason, back to you.
All right, Tabatha, thank you. Cameron Roberson took a little sweep there, fly sweep, and didn't get anything. So it'll be 3rd down and 4 here for the Renegades, who started back on their own 5-yard line. And here is 3rd down. Brandon Jones swings it out. He's got some room. Barkley across the 20 and brought down at the 25-yard line. Malik Barkley. Great play there for the first down on a 24-yard gain.
Yeah, great timing there by Brandon Jones. Just waited for Barkley to get through, get into an opening there where he could catch the ball cleanly and up the sideline. Good speed there. Good turn of foot.
So Jones's first completion, and now he'll take the snap and hand it off to Barkley. No, he's kept it. Jones will unload downfield. Got a man complete. 30, 25, and brought down at the 20-yard line. A phenomenal throw from Brandon Jones to Zion Williams, a sophomore out of Stockdale.
Yeah, that's why Brandon Jones was fighting really hard for this quarterback spot, or why it was a tough competition. Brandon throws a beautiful ball, great timing, good job by the receiver getting behind the defender, making a nice play, and really fun to see starting out the second half here. A really good drive by the Renegades.
So it's 1st and 10. The ball is on the 21-yard line, 20-yard line, I should say. And this will be a sweep again to Roberson, who turns the corner, 20, 15, and brought down. A nice open field tackle there for Allan Hancock. And that was Edwin Works, who saved a potential touchdown.
There are weapons all over the field for the Renegades this season. So far tonight, I think I've counted at least 7 guys touching the ball, and all of them look like they're playmakers.
7-yard gain brings it to the 13. 6th play of the drive coming up. Brandon Jones looks very game so far running this offense for the Renegades. He is older than Cesar De Leon, a 3rd-year sophomore, bounced back from both Ventura College and San Diego State. And this is Malik Barkley, who takes it inside the 10, and Barkley gets down to about the 8-yard line. 1st and goal, Renegades. We'll see their goal-to-go offense for the first time tonight.
What you've got here, Jason, is the coaches are calling some run-pass options. So the quarterback has the option either to run the ball or pass the ball, depending on the read that he makes. And so far, it looks like Brandon is making all the right reads.
1st and goal. They stay spread out. 4 receivers. It's Tomlin to the near side, joined over there by Makai Ayers for the first time, and this will be a handoff. Nope, it's a throw. Jones looking in zone. All sorts of contact and a flag. Pass interference is going to be the call, and it'll be first and goal, but an advantage for the Renegades. They'll get half the distance.
Yeah, it looked like the feet got tangled up there a little bit, but hey, we'll take it.
It was Works who just made that great open field tackle, called for the penalty on that one. This in the end zone, so on a pass interference, it gets moved to the 2.
This smells like it might be Lamicio Hill territory, but we haven't seen him yet tonight.
Lamicio Hill has not entered the game yet at tailback for the Renegades, although Malik Barkley has looked very good running the ball up the middle for BC in this one as well. Barkley is a 5'10", 210-pound sophomore for the Renegades, a returner from Hampton, Georgia, Dutchtown High School. In the backfield, Brandon Jones takes the snap, he fakes it, he keeps it himself. Jones will dive into the end zone, lowers his shoulder. Touchdown Renegades, Brandon Jones.
A really clean drive there, capped off by a nice play, a nice read by the quarterback. That's Renegade offense right there, and that's something to be excited about if you're Coach Chudy and the Renegade coaching staff.
The quarterback keeper, the 7th play of a 91-yard drive. It took 3 minutes and 6 seconds. The extra point on the way and good from Aldo Gonzalez, and the Renegades lead it 14-0.
They're going to run out of those cannon shells tonight, Jason.
Well, Chad, I got to ask you, how impressed were you with Brandon Jones on that drive?
Yeah, that was impressive. Really clean, very confident. He has a good grasp and control of the offense. And the plays that were called by the staff hit Brandon Jones right in his wheelhouse. A guy like Brandon, you know, third-year sophomore, is more experienced. The game slows down for him a little bit. And when you can call those run-pass options a little bit more, he can see the field. He's a tall guy. He can see the field a little bit easier, has good control, and so far it looks to me like he made all the right decisions.
A player who led BCHS on a deep playoff run back in 2014. In 2015 was very good at Ventura College. In 2016 was supposed to be off to San Diego State University. He bounced back here to Bakersfield College on a red shirt after spending last year down there at SDSU, and looked very much the real deal on that drive. So the Renegades will kick it deep, moving from right to left now, so we'll get to see Hancock down on our side of the field for the first time. Set to kick things off here for the Renegades is number 31, Abraham Katona, who's done a nice job so far getting the ball pretty deep, but has not got it into the end zone yet, Chad, and we saw a nice return out of Hancock last time as a result.
Yeah, he's been dropping it about the 5-yard line, and he did have the wind at his back when he was doing that, so he's turned around a little bit here, kicking now into the wind, although the wind's died down. We'll see what he can do.
Monette and Chapa are deep. This one will come near side towards Monette, and this one's plenty into the end zone. Boy, did you call that. So a touchback. Hancock will take over out on the 25-yard line with 11:54 to play here in the second quarter. And the Bakersfield College Renegades off to a picture-perfect start to the 2017 season.
So far, some really nice, fun, explosive offense and some stifling defense, and that's a good recipe for Renegade football. And it can't say it enough. People have got to come out and see the Renegades here live. It's a $7 ticket for mom and dad. Kids 12 and under are free. If you're a high school student with an ID, it's $1 to get into the stadium. I mean, this is a really cheap entertainment, and it is a blast.
We should mention the Renegades have another home game coming up in 2 weeks, and then we'll be back live here on 17 for the September 30th game against El Camino. So
and if they love us so much, they can come watch it live and stream it on their cell phones and listen to us while they're watching the game.
You can listen to me and Chad if we have not driven you away by then. Absolutely. Love for that very much. The Renegades, a timeout, by the way, taken by Hancock here. Coach Dutra, I'm thinking, probably wants to get everything in line. It's the 17th season for Kyle Dutra. By the way, the offensive coordinator, we should mention, a former Renegade player, Seth Bammer, calling the plays tonight for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, a little turncoat over there, huh? That's okay. You got to find a job where you can get one, I guess.
Hey, last drive for the Renegades, a turnover. Christian Brown was a first-team all-conference player, a lockdown corner for the Renegades last year. Christian Brown was simply phenomenal for Bakersfield College. 3 interceptions, 7 pass breakups. He was a second-team all-conference player last year. 34 tackles. Looks like he's on his way to being a first-teamer so far tonight, as Hancock will take over on their own 25 again in that big jumbo goal line type of offense. 5 linemen, a tight end, 3 backs, and they're going to throw it out of that, going for the fade near side, looking for Kimball, and that ball is incomplete down the sideline. A lot of jostling going on there, some hand checking from Lenny Richards, the sophomore corner for the Renegades, and an incomplete pass.
Yeah, Lenny's one of those corners that the Renegades have that they can stick out on an island and lock down those receivers. And I don't know if you can pick that up on the TV, but there was no space there. Lenny was with him in his back pocket the whole way, and then fortunately the ball was overthrown out of bounds.
Francis Mayer, one of the sports information people here at BC, a longtime Renegade supporter. Here's the toss, and cutting upfield. There's a flag on the play, however. This one's going to come back. That's right in the area of holding, especially on a play with so much pulling going on. Francis Mayer sends me the first quarter official statistics here from the BC staff. And, boy, not a lot happening for Allan Hancock's offense. 4 first downs. Most of those came on penalties. They have 37 rushing yards on 13 carries and 4 passing yards on 1 of 3 passing, including an interception. There's a chop block, so it's definitely coming back.
Yeah, I picked that up on the right side of the offensive line here. You got 2 really big offensive linemen. The right tackle didn't move his feet very well, and he went down to the ground, took out the D lineman who was already engaged with the guard, and that's a no-no. And that'll get you a very dangerous play, get you a penalty real quick.
So this will move it way back.
Yeah, those stats are similar to the last year's game, unfortunately. But fortunately for us, our stats were pretty similar last year, but quite different this year.
So back to throw, more pressure coming, and that ball is just thrown away. Great job there from the Renegades. And that was James Thomas, who's been all over the field, flying around, the freshman from Independence.
Yeah, a little naked boot there by the quarterback, and he wasn't naked because he was covered up by Renegade defenders, and they were in hot pursuit, and there was nobody open downfield. They kind of, when you naked out like that, they try to flood the field to one side with all of their receivers, and unfortunately for the Hancock Bulldogs, there wasn't anybody open there.
BC looking to force its second 3 and out of the game. Remember, it actually forced a 3 and out on the second drive, and then a penalty on the 4th down punt play gave Hancock the ball. Back to throw is Keller, under pressure from Eddington, and throws it away. That was a screen that never had a chance. And Chad, Terrell Eddington just continues to be all over this field, looking very much like a Division I player here in the first game of the season.
And he showed his lightness of foot when he jumped up like a ballerina to try to bat the ball down there. Terrell's having a great night, a great start to his season. Yeah, he's got to get on tape early. You know, that's what these guys in junior college are trying to do here. Yeah, they're playing football. Yeah, they're competing, but their ultimate goal, they want a scholarship. They want to continue to play. They want to get their college paid for, and how they do it is get good games on tape, and Tyrell is definitely doing that tonight.
Here's the punt. Jaquel Tomlin wants a fair catch, and he'll take it at the 39-yard line. Excellent field position for the Renegades as we look to see who puts the helmet on and comes out under center. It will be Brandon Jones again, who just led Bakersfield College on a 95-yard touchdown drive in 7 plays. His first time under center. Now he's only got to go half that distance, Chad.
Yeah, he made it look easy. Now he's got half a field. Let's see what he can do.
Renegades will take over.
There's
here.
Lamicio. He's finally made it into the ball game.
Lamicio Hill, number 2, into the game for the first time.
Sophomore driller. Fun to see those drillers in the backfield. Lamicio's a bowling ball, man.
A great change of pace back for BC last year behind Derek Vickers, and it'll be a play fake, and Jones unloading again. Near sideline, Tomlin, and he overthrows him by just a little bit. A lot of hand checking going on over there. Here's somebody in the stands, wasn't too excited about the non-flag there. Jalen Burgess on the coverage, another Georgia kid. Let me tell you, half of Allan Hancock's team's out of Georgia. I'm not knocking them for coming to Cali to play college football. I don't know why you come to Santa Maria from Georgia,
yeah,
but
well, we see a lot of that in the teams that we play in this league. They've got a lot of out-of-state players, a lot of guys from all over the place. We have a sprinkling of guys this year from out of the area, but our core team is from right here in good old Bakersfield.
There's Lamishio Hill getting his first touch of the football in 2017, and it goes for just 2 yards.
And if you look at our talent and our speed that we have on both offense and defense, it's homegrown guys. It's guys that have played right here in Bakersfield, and it's great to see them coming up here on the hill. We love to have them. It's so exciting for the fan base to continue to watch these guys play in high school, and then get to come and watch them play up here on Saturdays, and then go play on the big TV on Saturday somewhere else.
It is 3rd down and 8. And here's Jones. He'll throw again. A quick one. Tipped and nearly intercepted. He was looking for Chance Cooper on that one, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, I really like the aggressiveness of our left tackle, Caden Cox. Man, he just drove that defender into the ground, but he finished him. He had him locked up, and he didn't like the way his breath smelled, and he drove him into the ground. It's good to see out of the young left tackle.
So the first punt of the season for the Renegades. And this is Olivis punting for the Renegades. And that is a beautiful punt. It will fall at the 7-yard line and be taken by Hancock up for 4 or 5 yards, if that. Brought down right away for the Bulldogs. That was Dominic Chapa. And so Hancock will start back at their own 13.
Yeah, Olivis is definitely a weapon. It's good to see him back there, and that was a great punt.
So 10:23 to go here. Again, Hancock backed up. Their starting field position, they've started out at the 45 once, and otherwise they've been backed up from the 25 or deeper. This is the second time they've started inside the 15. The first time they went 3 and out. So let's see what they can do here as Keller goes under center and hands it off, and that's Skinner back in the game at tailback. He goes right up the middle and picks himself up 4 yards.
Yeah, ho-hum ISO play, just right up the middle, nice gain of 4 yards. You're gonna see a lot of that. You have seen a lot of that. That's their bread and butter play. You know, Coach Carl Dean said he wanted his offense to be ball controlled so he could keep the Hancock offense off the field, because this is what they do. They eat up a lot of clock. They control the game. They just grind, pound. But fortunately enough for us, they're pounding against a brick wall, and this defensive front is not letting them get any yardage.
2nd down and 6. Another handoff. And another 3 or 4 yard gain.
So it looks like we'll have 3rd and 4 again. We've seen this a lot tonight, Jason, so they got a few options, but probably going to have to throw the ball here, and they're going to play right into the strengths of the Renegades.
BC defense has been all over the place so far in this one.
They're going to spread it out here a little bit.
Hancock going 2 wide on the far side. It's Kimball in the slot. Keller under center. Skinner is the deep back. Keller will throw. No, now he'll hand it off on a draw. Skinner's got a little bit of space. He cuts back. There's a flag. The flag came from very deep. That would be enough for a 1st down, but we'll see what the penalty is. Usually something like that is.
It was from a coach on the Renegades sideline, or from a ref on the Renegades sideline, so chances are it might have been something that the Renegade coaches picked up on. Or not.
On the Renegades, illegal use of hands. I think that came on one of the corners. They might have got a hand up in a face trying to engage there, Chad.
Yeah, looks like that's probably what it was.
So the penalty is a big one. That's the 2nd time that BC has given Hancock a big chunk of yardage after a 3rd down play on a penalty. This one comes all the way out to the 39 as the play counted and then the penalty hit.
Yeah, you can't afford to have dumb mistakes, keep extending these drives.
And so Jimmy Keller under center, hands it off. Skinner still on his feet, gets out to the 45 or so.
Skinner's starting to get a little bit of momentum here. He's made a nice read there, found the opening on the offensive line, and was able to pick up a nice gain there. That is something that is Allan Hancock football. Those 8-yard gains is what they're accustomed to, running the football. We can't let that happen. And one of the ways we're going to stop it is bring Tyrell Eddington back from his breather.
They gave Tyrell a little bit of a break. Tyrell Eddington is down to 305 pounds this year. He was up over 330 last year, and Coach Chudy said it's made all the difference for him as here's a handoff, a new tailback in the game for Hancock. Goes right up the middle. That is Damon Whitmill Jr., a freshman out of Kansas City, Missouri.
When you're 330 and you go down to 305, that's called throwing an ashtray off the Titanic. But if it makes him feel better, it makes him feel better.
Well, Coach Schutte said it gave him an extra step.
Yeah, okay,
so.
He probably is moving a little bit
Third
better.
and 1. Big play here for the Renegades, by the way. It's where you'd like to see some penetration from Eddington up front. Good blocking, a nice run up the middle will get the first down.
Yeah, they kind of just did a nice wedge block there. The whole right side of the offensive line caved down, made a nice opening, and the backers came free and were able to make the play, but it wasn't soon enough. They still were able to pick up the first down.
That was Vitravius Gamble. Boy, does Hancock just pick away at you, Chad.
Yeah, run. Don't go to sleep, corners. Here comes the pass.
Coming up on 7 minutes left here in the quarter. Keller goes back under center and hands it off, and this is Skinner back in the game, wrapped up by Matt Hubble and a host of other Renegades.
Nice play. Good job by the defense there, getting to the line of scrimmage quickly and stopping the running back at the line.
Boy, I didn't necessarily believe Coach Schutte because it's 2017 when he told me that Hancock will line up in the same goal line formation and run the same play 12 times in a row on you. But they really, this is a limited playbook. They just try to wear you down.
This is the same offense that they've run for as long as I can remember. The only thing that's missing is the Santa Maria mist and the smell of the tri-tip.
I was just going to say, where's the tri-tip at? Skinner gets rocked that time. I mean, lit up by Matt Hubble again, and he is fired up.
Yeah, Matt made a great play there and came through that line and stuffed him in the backfield.
It's 3rd and 7 with 6 minutes to go. Renegades lead 14-0. I'm Jason Galvin alongside Chad Manning in the BHS Hall of Fame. Are you in the BC Hall of Fame, Chad?
No, I'm not.
We got to work on that.
No, we don't. My dad is, though.
There you go.
Yeah, my dad is All-American here up at Bakersfield College and in their Hall of Fame.
That's why Allan Hancock doesn't throw the ball much. A swing pass is incomplete. They say it went forward, and it'll be 4th and 7, and we'll see what they do.
Well, it looks like we're going to have that punter, see if he can straighten his punt out. He hasn't been too successful tonight. I think he's probably had a net gain of about 7 yards per punt.
This is Jordan Pollard. He's a sophomore out of Santa Maria. He went to Rigetti High School. And it's Tomlin deep again for the Renegades. He has not really had a chance to show off his track speed in this game. Chad's counting everybody because last time Hancock punted, BC had too many men on the field. Here's a punt. This is a high punt. Tomlin's going to try to return it from the 10. Nope, he called a fair catch. He must have called it early. By the time I looked down, he had not, but he called it very early. And so the Renegades will take over with 5 minutes and 34 seconds remaining here in the first half. BC will take over, and they'll be back on their own 12-yard line here. 5:34 to go, and we'll see if Brandon Jones remains in at quarterback. You'd think so. Cesar De Leon got the first quarter. We'll see if Jones stays in there for the second quarter. It looks like he will. No, Cesar De Leon back out. Cesar De Leon is back out, 15 out there. I saw the single number. It was Elisha Ortiz. So the starters are back on the field, so to speak, in the backfield. De Leon and Ortiz, and we'll see what they can do as they're backed up to their own 12. First down, here's the snap, and here's Ortiz. Off the left side, he finds a little bit of space and wiggles away for a couple of yards. Nice open field play there by number 42 for Hancock. That is Seth Olise, a freshman defensive end.
Yeah, another run-pass option there from the coaching staff. The quarterback has got his read, and what he's reading is that linebacker's movement. If that linebacker, if he thinks he can get off that linebacker, he'll give the ball to the running back. If not, he's going to pick up and throw to the corner, out here to the flats. But great call by the quarterback, a nice positive gain of 5 yards.
It is second down. Here's Roberson on the sweep. Nope, Caesar takes it himself, and he gets hit pretty hard.
That's the other part of a run-pass option is the quarterback always has the option to run the ball himself. So he can either hand it off to the running back, he can throw it, or he can run the ball himself. And that time he elected to run the ball. Little short gain, but, hey, it's a gain. So now we're at 3rd and 4.
De Leon went with the hard count there, which was very effective in the first quarter. Nobody bit. He'll take the snap and throw, and Tomlin has it out around the 25 and then backed up. But that should be enough to move the chains. It is a first down.
Yeah, nice quick pass there, quick pitch and catch, and for a first down. They brought pressure from the linebackers, but the offensive line was able to pick it up, give De Leon the time to throw the football. Made a nice clean play there, enough for a first down.
4 minutes left. De Leon, handoff, Ortiz wiggles around, lowers his shoulder. Nice job out in front there. Leading the way was Cody Watts.
You know, nice explosiveness from Elijah there. Got him his first 5 yards, but got out there, got caught in traffic there and couldn't quite break free. Thought he might have been able to bounce it outside, but that's okay. Got a nice positive 5-yard gain, and 2nd and 5 for the Gates here on their 30-yard line.
De Leon in the gun, Ortiz to his right. Takes the snap. De Leon will throw. He'll go up top, down the field. A whole lot of holding going on. And there's the flag.
Yeah, kind of hard to get open when you got somebody holding your belt.
That was Jalen Prevost, the freshman out of Ridgeview, who was an exceptional player for Dennis Manning's squad at Ridgeview the last 3 years or so. Really, really impactful player for a couple of very good league championship teams and teams that made runs at Valley down there at Ridgeview.
Yeah, Jalen looked really good in pregame warm-ups. Got really good speed, nice quick off-the-line speed, and quick out of his turns. And he's a young talent that their coaching staff's really excited about.
Coming up here, Tabatha Mills should get a word with Coach Jeff Chudy as they go into the half. So be able to catch up and hear what Coach thinks of the first half, which has 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining, with the ball now out on the 40 following that penalty. De Leon will look to throw. He'll pump fake. He's under pressure, and he's going to go down. He tried to throw it away. It was far too late. They're going to put him down. And a nice job there on the sack by number 33 for Allan Hancock, Connor Epley, the 6'2 sophomore out of Santa Ynez.
Yeah, Allan Hancock overloaded the left side there and brought some pressure, and we didn't have enough offensive linemen to pick up that because it was the backside, and they were able to catch quarterback from the back.
Next first sack of the night against BC. Here's De Leon in the backfield. O-line's done a nice job so far in this one. De Leon gets the call. Takes the snap, looking to throw the whole way. A quick one for Tomlin. He dropped it.
Yeah, you heard the footsteps there. Actually, I think he was ready to make his move and turned upfield before he had the ball. Unfortunate, because that would have been a nice positive gain, help gain back some of this yardage.
2:43 to go in the half, and a 3rd and 19, and all you're looking to do here is to get the clock running this late in the half and pick up a chunk of yardage to help your punter out. If you get the first down, it's gravy after that. No mistakes on a 3rd and 19.
Yeah, don't want to do anything dumb here.
De Leon will get the call from the sidelines. And we're going to get a false start, I think.
Yeah, it looked like the center was a little slow to snap the ball, and our right guard was jumped as a result, unfortunately.
Quentin Cheevers, the big freshman. When I say big, I mean big. 6'5", 325.
He's a big old boy, and he comes from Canada.
They're going to move that offensive line around, by the way, this year, but that penalty backs them up 5 more yards. It's now 3rd and 24 from the 26. Trips to the far side. Look for a quick screen here or a draw. De Leon, there's the draw. There's Ortiz. Ortiz got some room and makes a cut. Ortiz to the 40 and brought down to the 42. He dropped the ball, and it's going to be marked down. Elisha Ortiz was one more move from breaking free.
Yeah, that's the explosiveness that we expect out of Elijah Ortiz. He had some room, was able to make a cut at the line of scrimmage, sprung him for a nice 15-yard gain, and in most cases, 15-yard gain is going to get you a first down, but when you have some penalties and a sack, unfortunately, we're still left with 4th and 9, and the Renegades have got a punt.
Back to receive the punt for Hancock, number 32, Dominic Chapa, a freshman out of Aurora, Colorado, and Grandview High School. It's Olivas ready to punt. Carson Olivas, the freshman kicker and punter out of Bakersfield High School. His brother Coleman's a receiver on this team. Haven't seen much of him. Olivas gets the punt away. Chapa deep will try to take it. He hit it. He lost the ball. Who's got it? Bakersfield College. Looks like they've fallen on it. We're waiting for the official.
There's a scrum.
Renegades say they have it.
First down.
They do. Bakersfield ball will be first and goal. The recovery on the play for the Renegades by Grant Bice, the freshman safety out of Liberty.
Nice play there on the ball, bouncing around. Both teams had a shot at it. Renegades wanted it more. Now we got 1:37, Jason. Ball's on the 9-yard line. Looking to score before half.
And Dominic Chapa, who is the returner, is being carried off the field here by some trainers without putting any weight on his right leg. Chapa tried to pick that ball up and run with it. There you see him being helped off. Right leg is limp for Chapa. You hate to see that. He tried to pick it up and run, and he didn't necessarily get hit, Chad. It almost looked like that injury might have happened as he cut to pick the ball up that was bouncing, and he hit it while crumbling to the ground as opposed to making a mistake.
Yeah, he did make a very clean field on that ball, and hopefully for his sake he's not hurt. But that was an unfortunate for him, but a really good turn of events for the Renegades, who have got a shot to put some more points on the board before we go in for half.
Ball's on the 9-yard line with 1:37 to go, and it's Brandon Jones back in under center, so to speak, for the Renegades. He's in the shotgun. And it's Barkley, and we're going to get a flag. Is that too many men again, Chad?
No, they called a delay game on the
Renegades. I did not see that. I was looking over. Hancock was substituting late. And that's a mental mistake you can't afford. It backs up BC. It'll be first and goal now from the 14, although that kind of opens the playbook a little, right?
Yeah, and I don't think they reset that clock while they were waiting for the guy to come off.
The Hancock substitute, right.
No, the injured player coming off the field.
Good point.
A little unfortunate event for the Renegades there.
So it's now first down and goal. This is back here at the 13-yard line. Malik Barkley is the tailback. They bring Roberson. Brandon Jones fakes it, takes it straight forward. Little Tim Tebow play there, gets it to the 12. Cam Newton, Tim Tebow, very reminiscent of those types of offenses. They run that fake on the fly sweep and straight up the middle.
A lot of motion there from the Renegades, but Hancock didn't adjust to it. They left all the guys in the box, and as a result, they were able to make a nice play on the quarterback.
So second and goal, this one's from the 12. Fullback out there for BC's Eder Tavera. Jones is throwing, looks to the end zone, wants Roberson, and he overthrows him.
100% of the balls that are overthrown are not caught for touchdowns.
Is that so?
That is so. Unless you've got Odell Beckham that's sticking his hand
right? Yeah, Santonio Holmes.
For sure.
One minute left here on third and goal. Jones to the end zone. Tomlin!
That a baby.
Touchdown, Jaquel Tomlin.
They're all about matchups, these Renegades in this offense, and they found the matchup they wanted. Thompson beat his receiver. Brandon Jones put the ball on a rope right to the bread basket, and a nice play for the Renegades. A great job going into the picking up the score there, capitalizing on the opportunity that was presented to them by the mistake from Allan Hancock. Now they're going to go in up 21 points at half.
Gonzalez puts the extra point through. You hear the cannon blast go off. It's a good night for BC football when you hear that cannon go off so much in the first half. And with 55 seconds to play here in the second quarter of this one, the Renegades lead at 21-0. And how big is a score like that, Chad, coming off of a turnover, to be able on third and a long goal to go, put a touchdown on the board late in the half, and you go from a 2 to a 3 score game?
I was a little worried for Tabatha that her interview with Coach Chudy right before the half might be a little bit tough, but that's going to put a smile on his face, make things a little bit easier.
Coach is a tough interview anyway.
Yeah,
a lot of respect for Jeff, but,
he's intense.
But Jeff's game face is on all the time.
I love him to death. He's a great coach, very intense, but one of the best coaches that this Renegade program has ever seen.
You don't get to be a national powerhouse like this team was a few years ago without that intensity. Of course, I talked about it earlier today, Chad, in the 5 o'clock news. You know, the buzz around this team. I think that this is the most buzz Bakersfield College football has had since that infamous 2012 season with the state sanctions. A lot of disagreement here in Bakersfield about those sanctions that wiped out 2011 and, of course, that 2012 state championship team. But you can – it's like I always say with Reggie Bush at USC, you could take it away on paper, but everybody remembers the games were played.
That's right, and we're still trying to fight to get that championship back. It's not a lost cause yet. It's still in the works. We're still going to bring that championship home, probably at the end of this season when we have another one to chalk up on the board. How about it?
There you go. I think everybody here in Bakersfield would like that. Katona's kick taken out of the end zone and returned near side to the 20, 21, 22, and it goes nowhere from there. Nice job there by the Renegades coverage team. They've really only had one time all night where the coverage team was not blanketing Allan Hancock. In fact, that was probably the second most successful return Hancock's had, and it still put them 4 yards short of where they would have been with a touchback. Yeah, the special teams they're firing all cylinders tonight for sure. So offense, defense, and special teams are making it happen. But you don't want to get too excited because you don't know how good your opponent is, right? We don't know how good Allan Hancock is, but what we can see is some explosiveness, good physicality out of both offense and defensive lines. Great job by our linebackers filling holes. Wow, speaking of great jobs. Yeah, that's the kind of football that we want to see up here at Memorial Stadium, and that's what's getting coaching staffs and now the fans excited because that's what we want to see on this field. Tuiatasi, the linebacker, a freshman out of Frontier High, put a stop to that play on just a 1 yard gain. You know, the other thing the Renegades have an advantage of, they've got a lot of talent. They're deep. So they can keep guys fresh. There are fresh faces everywhere. And a hot, muggy night like tonight, even if it was a tight game, that would pay dividends for the Renegades. Another handoff right up the middle, nowhere to go again. And that time, it was Justin Holmes, the sophomore defensive tackle out of Liberty, and that will end the half. Justin Holmes, I feel bad. It's like he's the overshadowed one because he plays next to Terrell Eddington, but Holmes does a nice job stopping the play, and you heard the cannon go off, and that means that we have reached halftime here at Memorial Stadium, 21-0. The Renegades with a dominant performance here in the first half of this one. They get 3 touchdowns. Brandon Jones on a keeper, Jaquel Tomlin on a 12-yard pass, Cam Roberson with that explosive 52-yarder. We're waiting for Tabatha to catch up with Coach Chudy here as the Renegades come off the sidelines. Hancock has huddled on the near side, talk about things before they go to the second half. So keep an eye out over there. I got my eye on Tabatha. We're looking for Coach Chudy. Goal line. Goal line. Got him. Chad's got him. There you go. He's on his way over. He's not in a big hurry. I don't blame him. It's been a good half so far for the Renegades. Tabatha walking over, and Tabatha Mills has Coach Jeff Chudy. Turn it over to Tabatha.
And we got to get cued.
Yeah, you cue it.
All right, hey, Coach, what are some things that you saw in the first half that you'd like to capitalize on or to continue to capitalize on in the second?
Well, I think, defensively we're doing a really good job of keeping leverage on the ball. Penalties defensively were really kept us on the field twice. That was not what we're hoping for, offside, hands to the face. We got to eliminate the penalties that keep them on in a drive. It's like a turnover for us. Offensively, we big played them. We got to do a little bit better job of getting a hat on guys. If we can get a hat on guys, there's some seams there for our running back. I think Elijah and Barkley did a nice job with what they had, but we got to do a little bit better job on the backside, getting our hat on guys, and then we got to protect the quarterback a little bit more so they give him some time. So we just got to clean some things up.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Jason, back to you.
All right, Tabatha, thank you very much down there with Coach Chudy. Got to imagine he's excited with the way that this one has gone so far. And 21-0 is the score as we head to halftime here. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with a recap of the first half. Plus, hey, big day at Fresno State University for one of Bakersfield's favorite football players. The Renegades lead it 21-0 over Allan Hancock. It's halftime. We're back after this.
Renegade Football, sponsored by Bakersfield College.
All right, we're back now here at Bakersfield College Memorial Stadium. Some halftime festivities underway. I'm Jason Galvin with Chad Manning. 21-0. The Renegades lead this one. Some things that you could work on for sure, Chad, but still a dominant first half. Let's take a look here at the scores from the first half of this one. Cameron Roberson was electric.
Yeah, he was really exciting to see him out on the football field. He did a great job. And really, that is the player that we expected to see when we came into the stadium tonight, and we weren't disappointed.
52 yards on that touchdown, and then Brandon Jones comes in for Cesar De Leon as the second quarterback and leads a beautiful touchdown drive capped by this keeper.
Really good control of the offense, very calm, under control, collected, and a lot of run-pass option there from the coaching staff for him, and he didn't make a bad decision and marched the team 91 yards down the field and connected on a nice touchdown.
And, it's a big day for the Renegades, obviously, as we start college football season. A big first half, 21-0. But college football underway across the country today, Chad. And have you heard of Derek Carr?
Once or twice.
Yeah, he might be doing something. Now the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, thanks to Matt Stafford. Of course, leading the Oakland Raiders. Derek played at Fresno State, as did his brother David. And a big day today for Derek Carr and his family at Fresno State as they get ready to open the NFL season next year with the Raiders. Derek Carr had his number retired today at Fresno State before the Bulldogs opened their season today. Derek talked about what it means to him to have his number retired.
I want to leave a legacy. I don't want to just be someone that, oh, yeah, you were one of those guys that played here. I want to leave an imprint. I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave my mark. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. I just mean it in a competitive way.
And that is Derek Carr. Of course, a huge day for the Carr family. A big day for Bakersfield College football as well here. And you might hear the drum line in the background. So much pageantry in college football. Everybody loves the band. And 17's Tabatha Mills down on the sideline of this one for us with more on the illustrious history of the Bakersfield College Band. Tabatha?
It's a program rich in history and success. It's changed and evolved over the years, but the one thing has remained the same, and that's the pride and passion that comes with being a part of the Bakersfield College Marching Arts program. It's much more than what meets the eye.
It's become a very competitive activity.
It's much more than what is heard.
I mean, the competitive part is just kind of the hook, but it's really the work that's being done in the practice time that's the most important work.
Just as football players spend hours training, pouring blood, sweat, and tears into their sport, students in the Bakersfield College Marching Arts program do the same.
That's the stuff that I think our community doesn't see, and so they're kind of unaware of.
Nearly every day of the week, you can find Tim Heasley, the director of the Marching Arts program, working with students as they fine-tune their performance. It's a 20 to 40 hour a week commitment. In other words, it's a full-time job. And that's on top of college classes and their jobs off campus to help pay for their college tuition. This isn't a sport for the faint of heart. Renegade football and the marching band have long gone hand in hand.
I mean, we would fill the stadium, and it was the place to be on a Saturday night.
That feeling fueled the band.
If you graduated high school, of course you would come to BC and be in the band. It was just kind of an assumption.
The music department has evolved over the years, but the masterful skill and success have remained the same.
I mean, that's a testament to the people who have helped establish the program. It's a testament to the coaches that are working, one-on-one with those students and really guiding them along the path of understanding what it takes to be good at something and then not giving up when it gets tough.
On a national level, BC is home to two very successful and growing programs. The Spring Indoor Drumline program is ranked 7th in the nation. And the Golden Empire Drum and Bugle Corps is a world-renowned corps.
To be honest, even to have a team in that league is kind of unheard of.
But with all of the pride and success comes a tune you could say is a little hard to play.
More than half the battle is just getting the funds to actually go out and compete on the national level. I mean, it's one thing to be just good enough and train and do that all that work here at BC, but then to take that out and compete against the other groups that are also on our level is a whole other thing.
Well, get this. There is a couple bass drummers over there who have literally had one lesson.
Program. You can find out more information on the BC Foundation website. That's bakersfieldcollege.edu/foundation. Right now it's halftime at Memorial Stadium. BC up 21-0 over Allan Hancock. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Renegade Football, sponsored by Bakersfield College.
And we're back here inside Memorial Stadium. Jason Galvin and Chad Manning. There's about 5 minutes left here in halftime. You can see the cheerleaders are lined up awaiting the return of the Renegade football team here. It is 21-0. Things went about as good as you could expect there in the first half, Chad.
They did. The Renegade offense was clicking. The defense was clicking. The special teams made some plays. I think that coaching staff up there at the Romaine Clear Fieldhouse is probably pretty excited right about now.
It was a big half for the Renegades, and both quarterbacks came in and were efficient, although you saw two distinct styles of play, I think, when those QBs were in. When Cesar De Leon was in, it was a run-first team that tried to use the short passes and the team's speed to get out in space and create mismatches. Brandon Jones came in, and it turned into a vertical team real quick.
Yeah, and a lot of that is what the quarterback coach or the offensive coordinator, they give that ability to the quarterback themselves in run-pass option plays that they call. And so you don't know how much of that is called by the quarterback and how much of that is called by the coaching staff, but two quarterbacks could see the same defense two different ways depending on their strengths. And as we can see, Brandon's pretty confident in his arm. Caesar's pretty confident in his feet. And so together, a nice mix, and you can see why the coaching staff has had a difficulty naming a starter. And I think we might see both of these players, a little bit of them each game this season, if what we've seen on the field continues.
You figure at least until maybe one of them separates themselves from the pack. Maybe you play it on a drive-by-drive basis, kind of depending on the opponent that you're playing and what type of looks you're getting from the defense.
Yeah, well, if you can throw two different looks at a defense with two different quarterbacks, I don't think that hurts anybody. The offensive line didn't seem to be bothered by the snap count of either quarterback.
And they're distinctly different. We saw that. Cesar De Leon was hard counting and drawing guys off sides. Brandon Jones was barely set, and he was snapping the ball.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good weapon to have. Coaches have to prepare for two different quarterbacks when you're a defense, and that makes it tough in itself. Plus, Renegades got a handful of running backs that they can throw in that backfield to make the combinations even that more difficult and create many more different looks. And that makes it tough on the opposing defense.
Let's talk about those running backs too, Chad. We saw Elisha Ortiz started the game. He came back in late in the second quarter. In between, we got Malik Barkley, who was simply phenomenal for the Renegades when he came in. We got a little bit of Lamishio Hill. Kind of maybe surprised we haven't seen more of Lamishio as the veteran tailback here. But, it's interesting. We talk so much about the fact that this team has depth. And we heard so much from the coaching staff in the preseason about, well, we've got so many players that we're going to mix in here. We've got 7 receivers, and we've got 3 running backs. We've got 2 quarterbacks. A lot of times you hear people, and I heard this in the community this week, you hear people who say, well, that means they're not very good. A team that thinks it's got a lot of depth and can't make up its mind on players means it doesn't have anybody that's going to separate themselves from the pack. I think in the first half that we saw that's maybe quite the opposite, that this team really is that good across the board.
And I believe that to be the case. They have got a lot of weapons. They've got a lot of speed. You can time speed. You know how fast the guy is because you can clock him. And when you got multiple people with enough speed to get the job done, that tells me that they're going to have a lot of depth, and they're going to be able to go deep into a season. They're going to be able to take care of these injuries and whatnot, and I think they're set up pretty well.
There's a popcorn tossing competition that just ended in the stands there. It was entertaining to watch there for a second. Waiting on the teams. Allan Hancock's walking back down now. Teams are running a little behind as they come back out here for the second half of this one. Bakersfield College will follow Hancock behind that. So we're going to take you right up here to the kickoff here in the second half of this one. And let's talk about the Renegades defense, Chad, because we've talked so much about the skill players for BC, how explosive they've been, how good the offense has looked for most of the time here in the first half. And we've kind of forgotten about the defense. Allan Hancock's offense, not the most dominant team we've ever seen. It's very simple. We've established that. They run a lot of the same looks over and over. But they do the same thing very well, and BC has done a great job of creating pressure up front, not having to bring the backers or not having to bring anybody from the secondary in a blitz situation. And what that's done is it's stopped Hancock from even thinking about throwing. The one time they took a shot downfield, it got intercepted, and BC has shut down the running game.
Yeah, they have. And the Renegade defense is started and stopped with number 77, Tyrell Eddington. I mean, he has really been a game changer tonight, and we have a feeling he's going to be that way all season. And then he's got a good compadre there on his other side, number 55, Justin Holmes. And together, those two guys are going to create a lot of problems for opposing offensive lines and create really good opportunities for their linebackers to make some plays. And that's exactly what we saw tonight. James Thomas was able to get free, make some plays. We saw corners coming in, filling holes, and those guys were free because that defensive line is sucking up offensive linemen.
Here comes the Renegades back onto the field. We saw just a second ago there, Davin Shuck, number 11 for Allan Hancock, was warming up. And Davin Shuck, Coach Jutra told me the freshman is his backup quarterback in this game. But you wonder if after the way the first half went, if Davin Shuck's maybe not going to replace Jimmy Keller and see if they can't make something happen. Of course, BC is going to start with the football here. But I don't see Keller down there warming up anywhere. And Shuck is out warming up there with his receivers, as you would normally see out of your starting quarterback. So an interesting situation that we're going to keep an eye on here, see whether or not Hancock maybe thinks about going with a change at the quarterback position. Although here comes Keller down onto the field now, and he was one of the last ones out of the locker room. So could have also been getting some equipment checked on or an injury.
It looks like he's got a little limp there too, so you never know. Hopefully for the Allan Hancock's sake, that Shuck is the vanilla bean to this vanilla offense. it is a very vanilla. It makes vanilla look boring, let me tell you.
Isn't that the type of offense you wanted to play in when you were a player, though?
That's the kind of offense that you love. You know, you just grind it out three yards at a time. All you got to worry about is the guy in front of you and beating him. And if you can beat him and your buddy can beat the guy in front of him, you can gain 4 or 5 yards of play. Yeah, that's my kind of football.
Let's be honest, Chad. That's the type of offense that you loved when you were a 300-pound offensive lineman.
No, I was 299.
The receivers don't like that very much.
No, they don't. They go places like Grossmont. They don't stick around, you know.
Air raid offense.
But we're happy to have a really good, talented group of receivers here with us this year. And it's because we got quarterbacks like Brandon Jones and Caesar DeLeon that can get them the ball and let them make some plays and really light things up.
It's interesting because you look at the stats from last year and it shows you what we saw in the first half. Hancock's a running team. 230 yards per game on the ground, was 4th in the state. They only threw for 160 a game, and that was 58th in the state. But it was interesting, though, Hancock scored 31 points a game last year. They were 23rd in the state. They actually outscored the Renegades last year, who averaged 28 a game. So they outscored BC by a field goal, despite being a rushing dominant team.
And they came and got us late in the fourth quarter last year. They put 2 touchdowns on the board on us late in the fourth quarter and almost came back and beat us. So can't let that happen tonight. That kind of offense can do that to you. It can grind you and wear you out. And if you're not careful, it could happen to you again.
This is where that depth that we talk about could come into effect here. All of those extra players that have been rotating in and out as we get ready to kick off the third quarter, the second half of play here at Bakersfield College. The Renegades will start with the football, and deep to return this one for BC, Elijah Ortiz, as well as Cameron Roberson. So changing things up on the returns, and this will be Roberson who will take it, and he'll take it from about the 3. Roberson across the 10, 15, 20. He's got some room, 25, and he's pushed out of bounds past the 30.
Yeah, the sideline was his friend and his enemy there. Made a nice break, but he a little bit too late to the sideline. He could have picked up a few extra yards, but a great return by the Renegades to start out the second half.
They're going to start right at the 30, it looks like. They line this up here.
You know, I forgot to bring my jacket. It's getting a little cool out here.
What is it, 95 now?
95, but it feels so beautiful.
I haven't seen what Lori Lizarraga, our weekend forecaster, at one point had the high today set for 113. I don't know if we got there, but I can tell you when we were here about 3 o'clock setting up, it was sweltering as BC takes over on the 30. It's a brisk 95 or so right now with a nice breeze, I might add, as we get ready to go. And it's Brandon Jones starting the second half, and he'll hand it to Lamicio Hill, the sophomore out of Bakersfield High. Rumbles forward for a gain of 5.
Lamicio's dancing there a little bit. He forgot that he's a downhill runner, so like to see Lamicio just take it north and south a little bit more, but he's a tough load to bring down. So much fun to watch. I'm glad he's back for his sophomore season here with the Renegades. You know, Jason, even though it's nice and cool 95 up here, it's still over 100 degrees down on that field. And that's going to take its toll on these teams as we get later in the second half. Hopefully they're hydrated and we can keep out of injury and have a good rest of the game for these guys.
That was Hill again, and he rumbled forward for 4 more. It's going to be 3rd and short. My weather app on my phone says right now it is 96. I was underselling it.
The wind chill factor is 95.
Is that what it is? The wind chill factor? It is 3rd down and 1 from the 39-yard line here for the Renegades.
When you got a guy like Lamicio in the backfield and it's 3rd and 1.
So you got to think he's getting the football.
I don't think there's too many secrets here.
And we got a jump. Turns out Brandon Jones can hard count too.
Yeah, that's that pressure that they like to bring up the middle. They bring those backers a lot. And they got caught trying to jump the snap count, and we got an easy 1st down.
It's a 5-yard penalty. Move it to the 44. 1st down for the Renegades. They'll get to reset things. Haven't said a lot tonight, by the way, about Eder Tavera, 39, the sophomore fullback for BC. They don't run the fullback on all their plays, but he's done a nice job when he's been in there, getting through, making that second-level block and opening up space for Ortiz and Barkley and now Lamicio.
Yeah, it's the cardinal rule of broadcasting. You can't talk about a fullback or an offensive lineman.
Going deep is Jones. Near side, that's trouble. And it's intercepted or incomplete? We're waiting on the call. The two guys ran into each other, and it is an interception. Interception on an errant throw, and that was the safety for Allan Hancock. Dominic Chapa, who had to be helped off the field. Good to see him back out there and coming up with an interception.
Yeah, threw that ball into the wind, and the wind got under it a little bit and left it hanging up there, and that's not the start to the second half that we wanted, but unfortunate for the Renegades.
The first turnover of the game for Bakersfield College with 13:26 to go, and Hancock takes over from their own 22. And going deep is Keller. Over the top and broken up. Great coverage from the Renegades. And there's a flag way back on the 37-yard line, too. But it's down the field, and there's a Renegade hurt. BC player, is that Christian Brown? It is not. It's 26 for BC. Ernest Harris.
Yeah, it looks like he's just got a cramp. Hopefully that's all it is. Anytime you're exerting yourself down the field like that and make extra effort on a ball, those cramps can set in. And on a night like tonight, in this muggy, humid weather, hopefully for Renegade's sake, that's all it is, because can't afford to lose a guy like Ernest. He's a key component in that secondary.
He is the leader of the safeties on this team, a returner for BC, and you can see them down there stretching out his calf. They've actually worked on both calves while he's been down there. And that's not totally surprising. As we mentioned, it is 96. It might not feel like 96. It's actually not too bad right now with the breeze, as Ernest is up and walking off kind of gingerly, but he is walking off nonetheless, so some good news there. It's not too bad, and BC did a great thing. They brought in these huge cooling units on the sidelines for both teams. But 96 is 96, Chad.
It is, and like I said earlier, it's even warmer down there in that the Memorial Stadium here sits down in a bowl for those that haven't been here, and so and there's not a lot of airflow down there. And things are humid. It's nice, it's grass, but it's wet, or it has been wet at one point, so the humidity is high down there, and the temperature's a little bit higher than it is up on top of the stadium. So
here's a pitch outside, and this is Skinner, and Skinner not able to get very much going.
But we could talk about the weather up here, and we can talk about the heat, but those guys down the field, they're not concerned about it one bit. They're concerned about the guy in front of them and getting the job done. And so far tonight, the Renegades are doing a good job of exactly that. They're not making very many mistakes. They know their assignments and they're executing. And like I said, I can't tell if it's the talent that we're up against or if this is really that good of a Renegade football team. And don't get too excited, but they're executing, and they're executing well.
It's second down. There was a penalty on the Renegades, so it's second down now. And here's a pass into the flat, out of the backfield, and a big gain for Hancock. Across midfield is the fullback, Kevin Stark. That's the second time they've run that play, a little bootleg kind of flood play, and they dumped it off to Stark in the flat for a big gain.
Yeah, nobody came with him. He was able to get out in front of the defense there and make a catch and turn it upfield, and he had some room to work on the sideline. So a good play, probably the biggest play of the night for Hancock. But hopefully the Renegades can adjust to that and make sure it doesn't happen again. 17
yards is their biggest play of the game, Chad. So it's first down and 10 for Allan Hancock now from the BC 45, throwing again far side.
Pick it up.
That is nearly intercepted. That ball floated around there after it was dropped by Kimball. And that was some great coverage by Bobby Robinson, a sophomore out of South High. BC very talented at the cornerback position. It's not just Christian Brown, it's Robinson, it's Lenny Richards, LJ Early, Sean Stevens. The secondary, a strong point of this defense across the board. Of course, the D-line is dominant, but Coach Chudy said he's worried about the depth up front. He said there's no problems with depth in the secondary. We're trying to figure out how we can play these guys. That's how good he thinks his secondary is. Here's an option run, and Keller will keep it and get outside, lowers his shoulder. He tried to go one-on-one with Christian Brown. It didn't work, but he's going to be close to a first down. In fact, it looks like he's got another one on a 14-yard gain.
Yeah, Christian's got to be careful there. He made a nice play. He stopped the running back and put a nice hit on him, but got to watch that extracurricular stuff. These officials, they don't like that too much.
So the two biggest plays of the game for Allan Hancock.
So the coaching staff saw some things that they didn't, some opportunities against the Renegade defense, and it looks like they're exploiting them here. And this option looks like it might be one of them.
That time pitched outside, kept by 39. Travius Gamble. Gamble picks up 2 to the 33. Sixth play of the drive coming up. First half of this one. And here's a handoff up the middle, and not a lot going on there for Skinner, who came back in.
Oh, nice collision. He was met in the hole. I can't tell who that was from here, but nice job filling the hole by the linebacker there. It looks like it was number 41, Atuatasi.
Gain of 5 brings it to the 30. 29, we'll call it. So it's third down and 3. Skinner had 38 yards on 12 carries. Gamble had 52 on 4. Actually, Gamble had a big run, 46-yarder. Just didn't lead to anything for Hancock. And here's Skinner up the middle, and he's hit and taken down. First Renegade there was Zion Williams, but that's going to move the chains, a first down. So Hancock starting to pound away after that turnover. A 7-yard gain gives them a first down.
Yeah, Tyrell went out that play to get a breather, and they ran right over his replacement. And unfortunately for the Renegades, Tyrell wasn't in there to stop that play, but we're able to make a tackle. Unfortunately, it was after he picked up enough for the first down.
We'll get an update from Tabatha Mills here on an injured player down there. Injury update after this play. Here's a handoff up the middle. Not a lot going. Ball came out for a second, but it was recovered there for Hancock. That was Kevin Miller. Let's throw it down to Tabatha Mills. She has an update.
We have an update on player number 26, Ernest Harris. I just spoke to the trainer for Bakersfield College a few minutes ago. He said he's just cramping up. Needed to get some more water in him. You know, conditions, it is really warm out here, so they're going to get it, and they say they expect him to return to the game.
All right, Tabatha, thank you for that update there. Here's Keller under center. He'll hand it off right up the middle. Damon Whitmill.
Jason, how many times do you think tonight you said the term right up the middle?
Almost every play.
Yeah, it's this offense, it can lull you to sleep, and you got to be careful when you're on that defense. They'll pound you right up the middle, and then try to get on the corner real quick or go over the top on you with some play action pass. So be careful, Gades. Don't let it happen to you here.
And BC has rolled a player down into the box, you'll notice, and now they're even going out wide with man coverage with the safety. So they've stacked the box, and here is a handoff up the middle anyways, and right up the middle this time goes Kevin Miller, and Kevin Miller is going to move the chains. They're not afraid to do the same thing over and over again.
No, and they do it well, and if you can pick up 4 yards of carry, that's all you need to keep them advancing the chains, and that's what they've been able to do this drive.
Ball's on the 12. It'll be 1st and 10. Hancock knocking on the door. It's 21-0 BC. There's 8:26 left to go here in the third quarter. This is already a 5-minute drive for Allan Hancock, and this will be the 11th play of that drive, and it'll be another run with Miller. Miller off the right side, dances around, guides down about the 6-yard line or so before he is brought down. A host of Renegades there. The first one on the tackle was James Thomas.
So that was another 6-yard gain by the running back there, and they're knocking on our doorstep here. The Renegades going to have to tighten it up and see. Tyrell's back in the ball game. See if he can make a play here. Maybe tackle. Maybe stop these guys and get some penetration here for a tackle for a loss.
Damon Whitmill, the 230-pound tailback, gets the ball. He goes up the middle, dives forward. He's brought down short of the end zone, and a flag comes in after the play. The back judge threw that one. We'll wait for the call. Michael Frayne, the referee. Still talking it over, and here's the call.
Play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 77 of the defense.
And that's on Tyrell Eddington. That'd be an automatic first down, a half the distance to the goal. His first unsportsmanlike, because in college football now, if you get a second unsportsmanlike conduct call, you get to take the rest of the evening off. BC doesn't want to see that happen to its best defensive player.
No, and obviously things are getting a little heated down there in the trenches, and whatever happened, Tyrell didn't like it. Obviously not making any excuses, but that's what happens.
And a touchdown.
And here comes another
for Allan
one.
Hancock, and another flag after the play.
Looks like they got Tyrell again. And if that's the case, it could be problematic.
Talking it over. That was number 29, Damon Whitmill, who took it right off the snap and powered in. Still waiting on the call here. They're still talking it over. Now they're coming over and talking to Allan Hancock. And here's Michael Frayne.
Good.
Justin Holmes has been ejected from this game. Justin Holmes called for unsportsmanlike and called for throwing a punch, which will get him ejected from this game and will leave him subject to further discipline from the conference and, frankly, probably from his coaches. He is getting the cold shoulder right now. He just walked by Jeff Chudy, didn't turn around and look at him. He walked by Reggie Bolton, the longtime defensive coordinator here, who is a no-nonsense coach if you don't know him. And cold shoulder all the way down the sideline for Justin Holmes, who's going to have to leave the sideline as he's been ejected from this game. Here's a fumble on the extra point. They throw it up to the end zone, and it falls incomplete. And the Renegades get a break there.
Yeah, good job by the defense reacting to that. A couple of out of character plays there for both Tyrell and Justin. Obviously, something's going on down there in that offensive line and in the trenches, because both of those actions by those two defensive players are out of character. Not making any excuses. You got to keep your cool. You can't afford to put your teammates in jeopardy like that. And when you lose your cool, you jeopardize the rest of your team. So we're not making any excuses. But he's on his way back to the locker room now. Definitely not the way that he wanted to start his season. But hopefully he learns from this and grows from it. We can see him out here the next weekend in Chaffee.
As a long, lonely walk for Justin Holmes.
No, he's that coaching staff's not going to put up with that kind of action. I can guarantee it.
So the Renegades will try to pick up here. This game's kind of hit a lull. I'm not going to lie about that. We had a long, extended halftime there. We came back out. Renegades offense made its first real poor play of the night, an uncharacteristic play. Brandon Jones throwing that ball up and getting it intercepted. And then Allan Hancock went down the field and unloaded themselves a 6-minute and 4-second drive that went 78 yards on 13 plays and resulted in a touchdown.
And that's exactly what the coaching staff didn't want to happen. You can't get lulled to sleep by the offense. We did. They got 5, 6, 7 yards of play on it. They were aided by a few penalties there, but they marched down the field methodically, chewing up the clock, scoring a touchdown. And the Renegades did a good job of preventing that in the first half. They're going to have to buckle down here and refocus in the second half to prevent that from happening again. Otherwise, this game could get tight in a hurry.
Roberson and Ortiz are deep. Jordan Pollard will kick this from the 50-yard line. He's kicking into the wind, but from the 50, you got to imagine this is going out the back. And instead he short kicks it to try to pin BC, and Elisha Ortiz does the smart thing and takes a knee. And boy, there was a hit after the play down there as well on the near side.
Yeah, it's getting a little chippy out on that field.
Caleb Monette for Hancock. And Eder Tavera, the fullback for BC, got into it. Monette walked back to the sideline getting snapped at from his coaches and put his hands up like, what did I do? And Tavera walked back to the sideline getting high-fived. So,
pretty good, decent crowd for the opener, even though it was a late start, even though we're broadcasting live on KGET, and even though it was 100 degrees, there's a nice crowd out here cheering on the Renegades tonight.
Yeah, it was a late arriving crowd, but definitely not bad to see these fans show up here as things have cooled off. Brandon Jones is back out there, and he gives it to Roberson on the fly, and Roberson brought down borderline horse collar. They say he only got the jersey, and Roberson pops back up, which is good to see, but he'll take a loss.
Yeah, trying to get the ball in your playmaker's hands. Roberson, definitely a playmaker on the offense. And the fly sweep there, trying to get the ball in the playmaker's hands and just shy of breaking it for a nice big gain.
It's a loss of 3. Second down and 13. Jones will throw. Rolls right, he's got some room. Jones takes off, 25-30. He can move, he gets across the 30, and he's near a first down. He will be brought down just short. A nice job by Brandon Jones, who looked near side and realized he didn't have anything and took the easy yards.
And I don't think he saw that defender. He was looking downfield, trying to make a move. He had a blocker in front of him, and he didn't see the defender coming at him from the side, and knocked him down just a little bit shy of the first down.
So third down, they call it 2. Here the wind is picked up again here at BC. Chad and I are outside, that's why you're hearing that. Elisha Ortiz is the tailback, he'll fake it. Brandon Jones goes up the middle, dives forward to the 35, and he's gonna get it. Nice job by Brandon Jones to know where he was at on the field and get that first down.
Yeah, nice job using the run pass option play. With the fake with the lead back and then pulling it back and following the running back through the hole. The running back acts like a lead blocker there and got just enough yardage for a first down and keeping the chains moving.
Boy, wind has really picked up here.
I feel like I'm in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
You know, we had a thunderstorm blow through. It delayed the start of this game by about 5 minutes or so. And here's Jones taking the snap, and this will be Elisha Ortiz. No, Jones kept it again. Oh, and he gets hit hard. Popped at the end of that play. Jumps right back up.
Might have been a little bit of a misread there. Elijah looked to be pretty clean going through the line of scrimmage there.
I thought Elijah took it. There was so much room in front of him. Instead, it's a 1-yard loss.
Of course, that might be why he was so wide open, because he didn't have the ball. The Renegades are going to spread it out here and see if they can take advantage of one of these opportunities.
Jones will throw. Tomlin, he overthrew him. He had Jaquel underneath. Jaquel Tomlin, not the tallest player on this team. They list him at 6'1" and 180 pounds, and that might be generous. And so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 11 from the 34 to be the 6th play of this drive, which is a minute and a half old for BC, leading 21-6 here. 4:46 to play in the 3rd quarter. Jones takes the snap, looking to throw the whole time. There's a flag. They'll blow that play dead.
Yeah, I think the center was a little late to snap the ball there, and the defense reacted, but I think they flinched, and then we flinched on top of it, and so we're the ones that get called for the penalty.
You offensive linemen are pretty biased, you know that?
That wasn't an offensive lineman that finished. No. That was definitely the defense that caused it.
We're trying to stay hydrated up here, too.
Yeah, speaking of the offensive line tonight, Jason, they're doing a great job. You know, they're young. They've moved around in camp to different positions, and so they're just starting to get to work with each other. But they're doing a good job tonight handling that front for Allan Hancock.
On 3rd and 16, the Renegades go right up the middle with Jones. He's nowhere close to the first down, and BC will have to bring on the punting unit. So the offense has hit a bit of a stall here in the 3rd quarter, and you wonder if maybe they go back to Cesar De Leon on their next drive just to try to get something sparked here, as we'll see Carson Olivas on to punt it away.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever they had going for them this last 2 series is not there tonight. Not there anymore. So, not a very good punt there from Olivas. End result, not too bad.
Got the fortunate roll to the 29.
Looks like it came off the side of his foot and squirted down the field.
So 7-play drive results in a punt for BC, and Allan Hancock will take back over here with 4 minutes and 2 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, and they'll be on their own 29.
Okay, we'll pay close attention here to the interior linemen, see what's going on in there. It's
a lot of chippiness going on there.
They didn't like it, and let's see if it's been corrected.
Here's Hancock off the right side. That's Kevin Miller, the freshman.
Yeah, he was destined to go up the middle, and nothing was there other than 2 big number 77. And so he had to bounce it out and picked up a nice gain getting to the outside there.
Gain of 5, cuts the first down yardage needed in half. It'll be 2nd down and 5 from their own 34-yard line. Clock ticking away, as it seems to do every time Hancock has the football. Trying to claw their way back into this one, and another touchdown drive would go a long way towards that as Keller hands it off, and right up the middle, a couple of yards there for Hancock. That was Isaac Bosley. First time we've called his name, a freshman out of Napomo.
Yeah, you know, with Justin Thomas's absence, the Renegades have gone to number 99, Brian Abbott, and not as big a guy as Justin is, and definitely not as big as Tyrell. He's got a low center of gravity, but unfortunately, he's up against, on this right side of this offensive line for Hancock, some pretty big boys, and so he's going to have his hands full here.
Up the middle, Miller has the first down as he gets out to the 42. And, you know, I talked to Coach Chudy earlier this week. I asked him, I said, what's the, you know, I don't want to call it biggest weakness, but maybe the one thing that concerns you the most about your football team this year? And he said, depth in the trenches. on both sides of the ball. He said, we're about 7 deep on the offensive line, and then we get into trouble. I said, we're about 3 deep at tackle and 3 deep at end on the defensive line. I said, that's not very deep on the defensive end or defensive tackle spots. And when you have one of your rotational players removed from the game on something that by all means was avoidable, as here's a big play for Hancock, breaking free, and a flag comes down at the end of it. That was Damon Whitmill. When you have a player who gets taken out of the game, something that he could have prevented, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, this offensive line is starting to road grade for the Hancock Bulldogs, and that's going to be trouble for the Renegades. They're, like you said, they're thin there. They're a little bit undersized there, and they're getting a little bit wore out. And this offensive line is starting to come together, and they're making good push, good surge, and what in the first half, what was being held to a 1 yard gain or a negative pickup is now turning into 5 and 6 yard gains, and that's causing a problem here for the Renegades.
And that was a personal foul face mask on BC. All face masks, of course, about 7 or 8 years ago in college football and the NFL went to personal fouls, a 15-yarder, and that's a jump on Hancock, I believe.
Yeah, we got number 58, the left tackle there, couldn't hold his water, and that'll back him up 5 yards, and we can use that because when you have an offense like this, it's a little bit more difficult to come back from a 1st and 15.
Jacob Rothenzahl, the freshman there. Hancock does not have a lot of freshmen that play for them in the trenches. In fact, Rothenzahl is the only newcomer to that offensive line. Hancock brought back 4 starters on the offensive line from last year. The point of strength for Hancock is the point of concern for BC, and it's their depth up front on both sides of the football. But that 5 yard penalty moves them back. It'll be 1st and 15 now from the 32. Another run.
Nice play by the linebacking core there, coming off the edge. That right side of that offensive line, and I'll say it again for Hancock, they're collapsing the defense. And these linebackers are going to have to feel quickly because that offensive line is getting on them fast because they're knocking the defensive line back into them. So they're going to have to make an adjustment here, and whatever it is, it's going to have to be on the left side because they're going to continue to go for it.
It's 2nd and 15, 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. Rolling out to the left side and throwing underneath again. How many times have we seen that play tonight? They dump it off to the fullback, Stark. Stark went down as soon as he caught it, though. It's a gain of 4 and a 3rd and long, and a big, big play for the Renegades here. A chance to end the momentum that Hancock has built up in the 3rd quarter with 45 seconds remaining and a 15-point Renegade lead. This game's starting to feel eerily reminiscent of last year when BC jumped out to the big lead and Hancock clawed their way back at the end. This is a fake triple option fumble. Ball's on the ground. BC's got it. There's the momentum shift.
And that's what happens, Jason, when you got to get out of your offense. Your 3rd and 10, they don't have a lot of 3rd and 10 plays. They tried to go back to that option, and there was a lot of pressure from the defense there. We brought pressure on both off of both corners, and we were able to create that turnover.
Stephen Thornton, 6 foot, 240-pound sophomore defensive end, able to come down with that one, and the Renegades are back in business.
Looks like De Leon's back in at quarterback. See if we can switch a few things up and put together a drive here.
26 seconds left. BC on their own 34. Oh, we got a Renegade offensive lineman who looks like he's a little banged up after that play. Limping back into the huddle there for BC. Number 65, Blaine Brown.
Yeah, that's Blake's brother, Blaine. Got two freshman brothers here from Garces High School that are playing on the offensive line. Blake's the starter, but Blaine's a first-in reliever, and looks like he got a little banged up there.
And that'll end the 3rd quarter. 21-6, BC will take over with 2nd and 10 from their own 34. We're back with more here From Bakersfield College Memorial Stadium, it's BC Football live on KGET TV-17. And we're back, and just as we come back, BC snapped the ball, and Cesar De Leon gets intercepted on the far sideline, and Allan Hancock will take back over.
Yeah, the Renegades had third down and 5 yards to go there and threw a quick out, and the the defender stepped in front of it and made a nice play on the ball, intercepted, and that's definitely not what you need to do when you're trying to win a football game. So here comes the Hancock offense. They're working with a short field now. They got a good opportunity to pull back, tighten this game, and like you said, Jason, fourth quarter is where they put 2 scores on us last year to come within 3 points of winning the football game, and this eerily similar to last year.
Hancock just going to keep pounding away.
Yeah, and that's up the middle, off the right side, off the left side, 5-yard gain, 6-yard gain is what they're really good at it. They've got a great offensive line there that's able to make some movement now. They're getting a lot more movement than they were getting in the first half, and the running backs are falling forward for nice 4, 5, 6-yard gains.
Second down, and close to a first down is Miller.
Good play there by Tyrell Eddington. He was able to shed his block there and make a play on the running back. And now we're looking at third and short here. I mean, the Renegades can't bring any more guys in the box to stop. They've already got 8. I suppose they could bring in 3 more, but then they would leave the receivers wide open. But they've got 8 guys in the box to stop this run, and Hancock's still being able to move it.
3rd and 3. Handoff. BC does a nice job stopping it. And we're going to get a 4th down here. Renegades, a nice job filling the gaps there.
Yeah, 4th and short. 4th quarter down by a little over 2 touchdowns. I don't see how they do anything but go for it here. They're on the right side of the field. So another stop by the Renegade defense here, and we'll get the turnover on downs that we need.
Gamble comes out. BC looking for some support from the fans here. The bruiser in the backfield is Damon Whitmill, the 230-pounder. Got to think he's getting the football, and he does. Whitmill right up the middle, bowling ball. He got hit hard. It'll depend on the spot. But I think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, looks like from the official running in from the far sideline that he got just enough for the first down. And he did.
So first down for Hancock. 12-11 left in this football game.
The Gades are getting a little tired down there on that front line, Jason. They got their hands on their hips. They're taking deep breaths. They've got their hands full. That's when you have 350 pounds coming at you play after play after play, and you're having to do something with it and try to stop it. It'll wear you out, and that's exactly what's happening to that front line for the Gades.
BC forcing that run outside, and the first time that Allan Hancock has gone backwards on a run in a while.
And that's because we were able to win that matchup. The defensive line was able to hold their ground, free up the linebackers and come through and make a play for a loss. And that's exactly what they were doing in the first half. It's good to see him back on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
That was Kevin Miller who went the wrong direction there for Allan Hancock. Continue to make changes.
You know, your first game, your conditioning's not there like it is later in the season, Jason. Looks like we got a sideline warning on the Gades.
Allan Hancock with the timeout. And Jeff Chudy called with an unsportsmanlike, so not a sideline violation, but instead a penalty that's going to give Allan Hancock a first down when we get back from this timeout. Right now, let's check in with Tabatha Mills down on the sidelines, and already today a big day for Bakersfield Athletic Sports.
It's a pretty exciting day up on the hill for the women's volleyball program. They won their quads tournament today, and they're 5-1 on the season so far this year. Coach Carl Ferreira and his girls really excited about their positive start so far. He's sending it back up to you, Jason.
All right, Tabatha, thank you. Hancock goes right up the middle with a bunch of room following that penalty. Another 9-yard gain as Hancock now just starting to wear away and get to the second and third levels of this one, and they're doing it with multiple different backs. That was Vatrevius Gamble out of Manchester, Georgia, a freshman, 5'9", 170. Then he takes it inside the 10 to the 9. It's second down and 1. And at this point, Hancock's putting a new running back in on every play. It's hard to keep up with them. Straight forward. That's Whitmill who scored the touchdown. He got back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, nice job getting penetration through the line there, tripping them up in the backfield for no gain. It was an unfortunate penalty. Jason got these guys down here. Still can't figure out what was going on. I think it has something to do with substitution or 12 men on the field for the offense. And Coach Chudy wasn't too happy that the officials missed it, and he got popped for the penalty there. But defense is in a tough situation here, but 3rd and short, and see if they can come up with another stop.
I formation. Handoff. Cuts outside is Clark, and he is wrapped up. What a play by BC. It started with Tuiaduasi. Jeremiah Johnson, I believe, was the next defender in there for the Renegades, but Tuiaduasi blew that play up.
Yeah, he was trying to go up the middle, couldn't get there. Saw nothing but red jerseys, tried to bounce it outside, and we were able to string him out and make a nice play for a big loss. So 3rd and short turns into 4th and 3, and I like our odds here.
Hancock's going to go for it. They almost need to, the way this offense runs. They've taken 4 more minutes off the clock here, 5 more minutes off the clock on this drive, and this will be the 8th play of the drive. It's 4th down and 4. Keller goes to the gun. He's going to throw. He's under pressure, looking to the end zone. He throws it out of bounds, and the Renegades get off the field. And the pressure that time from BC coming from James Thomas, who's had a really big day for the Renegades.
Yeah, James has come up big for the Renegades this game, and that's a great job putting that pressure on. That receiver in the end zone, he wasn't open either. Good coverage by the receivers, and that's why it was overthrown. So a great defensive stand there after a penalty, put him in a tough spot. The defense responded, and maybe that's what Coach Judy was after, getting a little spark into that defense that was back on its heels. He's been known to do that once or twice to fire up his defense or fire up his offense.
Renegades 3 drives in the 3rd quarter ended in an interception, a punt, and a fumble. Oh, sorry, another interception. The fumble was from Hancock, and this time they'll start by running the ball. So interception, punt, and then the interception early in the 4th quarter. De Leon is back in at quarterback and a 3-yard gain on the first play.
Yeah, we got Lemicio took it off the left side there for a nice positive gain. And we're going to give Hancock a little bit of their own medicine here. Probably going to try to grind a few first downs out, run down the clock, and get out of here with a nice opening win. But let's see if we can get some first downs.
Prevost and Mackay Ayers are in the near side receivers. Robertson and Tomlin up top, and here is Robertson on that sweep. Instead, De Leon will take it himself, and like you said, try to grind out some yards here.
Well, where that flag is, it looks like it was probably either a motion penalty or a legal procedure. Somebody not lined up right for the Renegades. Or hopefully, Hancock was over the line on the defense.
You bring somebody like Robertson in motion there, what does that do to the coverage on the right side?
Well, one thing, it allows the quarterback to see what the coverage of the defense is. So when you put guys in motion, it allows the quarterback to see who's covering who and what coverage that defense is in. And then it allows you to create different matchups. The guy moves from one side of the field to the other. He's now being matched up with a different defender in most cases.
It was a penalty on Hancock, offside. So they get the same amount of yardage, but they reserved the down. So it's 2nd down, a short 2. De Leon with Lemicio Hill to his right. De Leon will look to throw. Now he rolls and he's hit and goes down, and he lost the football, but he's already on the ground, and a late flag came in there as well.
Yeah, I think they had his face mask there, and we're going to pick up a first down. So a bad play turns into a good play for the offense, but offensive linemen didn't hold their blocks there long enough, and unfortunately for De Leon, he did have some receivers open, but just wasn't able to get him the ball.
Basaru Job made the tackle for the sack. Sophomore, 6 foot 225 out of West Babylon, New York. But that was, as you said, a penalty for a face mask. And BC gets the break they need. 15-yard penalty, puts it up to the 34-yard line.
It gives them a little more breathing room. First down and 10. Now they can go back to running the ball and try to grind some of this clock down.
Handoff. Hill cuts back, makes a move to the 40. Lemicio stiff arm, 45 to the 50, and a flag at the end of that play as well. Could either be horse collar or a face mask. Lemicio Hill with a great run there for 16 yards.
Yeah, you saw a nice cutback.
Horse collar tackle will tack on 15 to the end of that play.
Yeah, Lemicio came off the right side, saw a nice cutback lane open up, and was able to do so and picked up a nice gain. Plus, you're going to tack on another 15-yard penalty. So we're 2 15-yard penalties and a nice 15-yard run. Next thing you know, you're 45 yards down the field, and that's the way we like it.
With all the penalties, that's only technically the 2nd play that's registered on this drive. But already BC has taken it from their own 11 down to the Hancock 37. De Leon keeps it himself. Lamicio, the lead back. De Leon cuts left. He's hit from behind, but able to spin forward. He's close to the first down. Nice job. Caesar De Leon showing some athleticism.
Yeah, you know, he is, and that's a nice run by Caesar. He just sure is taking a lot of hits, and don't like to see your quarterback being ragdolled like that late in the fourth quarter of a football game that looks like you've got under control. But that's the offense, and no sense in running it any different, I guess. Just hopefully you can take those hits and pop back up like you did.
Here's Lamicio Hill, near side, goes up and over.
It looks like they're going to get the offensive line for another of those high-low block, a chop block. The backside of the offense trying to scoop, and they got caught in a high-low situation. So bad penalty. Bad play by the offensive line there.
Number 66, number 51, the offense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So it was a chop block.
Special Bakersfield College rate for fair tickets, lowest in town. $9 for adults, senior general admission. $28 for carnival wristbands. That saves you $7.
Well, Jason, it's almost past my bedtime. This late start, not used to watching Renegade football pecking on midnight.
First and 25, the Renegades.
Another flag down. Boy, there's flags on seemingly every play at this point.
Yeah, guys getting tired, starting to get a little sloppy. Gotta focus here and hold it together. But I think that is on Allan Hancock. I think they jumped on the.
Offside, number 7, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Offside penalty against
And they did.
5 yards. It'll be first and 20.
So got 5 of that 15 back, so
It's like
first and 20.
was
Huh?
first down, and we're trying to figure out. First and 20 here. There's 6:03 left. It's 21-6. And here's De Leon trying to grind this one out. BC looking for the first points here in the second half. And De Leon going up top for Jalen Prevost. Inside the 5. Did he catch it? No. He did, but he didn't get the feet down in bounds. That was a great play by Prevost. He just couldn't stay in bounds. De Leon led him just a little bit too far.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see that one on the KGET highlight reel tonight.
Instant replay?
I'm pretty sure he had a foot in there, and that's all you need in college is 1 foot. But the official was right there on it. He's got better eyes than I do, I'm sure. But I like to give the refs a bad time. That's my nature.
This drive over 3 minutes old. De Leon up top, throws. Tomlin out of the slot. De Leon took a whack on that one as he let go of the ball, but Jaquel Tomlin makes the catch, picks up a big chunk of yards.
Yeah, Tomlin made a nice play on the ball there. He reacted very well. Unfortunately for him, the ball was put in a place there where he couldn't turn it upfield. But he did make a nice play, nice catch, and a short gain.
3rd and 14 for BC.
So probably in this situation, they're either going to go up top or a draw or quarterback run with De Leon. Let's see what happens here.
Hancock moved again.
We'll take 5 cheap ones.
Hancock says it's on BC, and it is. False start.
61, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
So 5 yards the other direction. And that was on Cody Watts, the center. BC's had a few issues today, Chad, with Cody Watts' timing. Do you attribute any of that possibly to the rotation at quarterback and 2 different snap counts?
And I think that you attribute 100% of that to that. You got 2 quarterbacks, 2 different ways of calling the cadence, 2 different claps, 2 different timings on the claps, and the one person that is dependent on that is the quarterback, or excuse me, is the center, especially in a shotgun formation. So we've seen that tonight out of Cody. He'll get those kinks worked out the more he gets to work with the 2 quarterbacks, or the more they solidify one quarterback over the other. But yeah, in a tight game, 5-yard penalties like that, they can be costly. So you want to get that ironed out as fast as you can.
It'll be 4th and 14 here from the 30. BC's offense staying out there. We'll see if they're just going to take a timeout as they run the clock down. It looks like that's what they're going to do, as play clock sits at 5, and we'll wait here for the timeout call with 1 second on the clock. The Renegades use that timeout. No, they're just going to take the delay of game penalty. So that means that they're going to punt it is what I'm thinking there. They're going to give themselves 5 more yards for Carson Olivas to work with as he comes on to punt. Aldo Gonzalez is the field goal kicker for BC. He won the job. He beat out Abraham Katona. And Katona has a big leg, but was told struggles a little bit with accuracy. On the other side of things there, Gonzalez, very accurate, struggles a little bit with the distance part of things. So instead of electing to kick what would have been a very long field goal there of would have been from 30, so 47 yards, instead they'll back it up and go with the punt.
Yeah, and in this situation, a field goal doesn't do you much good. You want to be able to pin the offense down deep in their own territory. There's not much time left on the clock in the fourth quarter, and especially the offense that Hancock has. Moving 90 yards is going to be really tough on them in 4 minutes.
Here's the punt from Olivas, a high end-over-end spiral. Everybody gets away from it, and it takes a backwards bounce for BC. It's down by the Renegades to Vera at the 21, and so that's where Hancock will take over with 4:03 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
I was trying to be prophetic there, Jason, and say 90 yards, but unfortunately that didn't work. So they got 89 yards to go.
79.
79. I'm an offensive lineman. We don't do math. 3 yards, coach. 3 yards in the cloud of dust.
First and 10 it is for Allan Hancock, and this is the point of the game where maybe wonder if they start to throw some wrinkles into things and go play action pass, and that's what they do here. Keller going over the top right away on the wheel route, and that ball is dropped. Boy, that ball was laid in there beautifully and just not able to be reeled in by Kimball. Nick Kimball, the sophomore, was Hancock's leading returning receiver from last year, was probably their best player last year, Coach Dutra said, and couldn't haul that one in.
And that was probably the play that he got most of his receiving yards on. It was beautifully drawn. He was wide open, but unfortunately that pass, the arc that it took and the route that the ball took to get there allowed the defense to close on it and make a play.
And we got a flag, a couple of them in fact.
Imagine that.
We've had plenty of flags that have slowed the second half of this game to a crawl. Mike Griffith from the Bakersfield, California, just stopped by, say hello. 5-yard penalty against Hancock for a false start. We'll back things up. 2.5 hours into this one, 4 minutes of football to be played. And then post-game, we hope to talk with Coach Chudy. Ball's on the 16. Keller's pass completed. And that's Nick Kimball. Might be Nick Kimball's first catch of this game.
Yeah, and I believe it is. You know, Jason, the first half and the second half, 2 different halves for the Renegade football team, but and the second half, not all that disappointing. Although there's some things for the team to work on, I think the coaching staff kind of expected that. This is what you get when you play an offense like this. They really try to wear you down, and they can get a few more yards on you. Outside of the Justin Thomas incident, I think the Renegade coaching staff has got to be pretty pleased with tonight's performance.
Speaking of pleased, how about that play there by BC on 3rd and 1? Desmond Ramseur, the sophomore linebacker, comes up and makes a play for a 2-yard loss, and it'll be 4th down and 3.
Yeah, that's a really good advantage when you have cornerbacks and secondary guys that can come up at the line of scrimmage and make plays like that.
Hancock is punting the football down 2 scores with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left. That's an interesting one, but
yeah,
but we'll go with it.
It's only 4th and 2.
And they're going to fake it. Well,
because their punter is a better thrower than their quarterback.
And brought down, and they do rule that a fumble. Doesn't matter who recovers it. Hunter Giletti the freshman special teamer out of Centennial High, or running back at Centennial. Had a great career over there. Brought down Jordan Pollard, the punter.
It's close, but I think it's a turnover on downs.
It was recovered by Hancock. And it does look to be short.
The ruling on the field is that the ball was fumbled by the quarterback and recovered by another member of the Hancock team. This was on 4th down, and by rule, the ball comes back to the spot of the fumble. The spot of the fumble is behind the line to gain. 1st and 10, Bakersfield.
Great explanation there by Michael Frayne, the referee. When you fumble the football as the offensive team in a situation that could end your drive, you're not allowed to advance the football or benefit on that. Why do they do that, you ask? What prevents you from purposely fumbling the ball forward to pick up a first down? And so here we are, 1st and 10 for the Renegades. De Leon remains in at quarterback. Elisha Ortiz back in the backfield at tailback, and he'll get the ball. Ortiz cuts from off left tackle, back up the middle, gets nothing out of it there. 2:14 to go, and BC will just try to run the clock out on this one. We'll get our photographer, Lee Ortlieb. We'll head on down and meet Tabatha Mills, who hopefully will be able to catch up with Coach Chudy at the end of this one. Chad Manning's got a look on his face. Tabatha's asking us if there's anything specific that either Chad or I want to know. Chad's a little lost right now.
Yeah, I want to know, is he still going to have a steak after the game for dinner, or it's 10 o'clock and probably shouldn't do that?
What do you think about his penalty?
Yeah, is he going to get up and have a nice bike ride in the morning before he goes to church?
Ortiz gets one more yard maybe. It'll be 3rd and long for BC. And Hancock is going to use a timeout. So you punt the ball on 4th and 3, down 2 scores, but then you use timeouts to stop the clock. Help me with that one, Chad.
Yeah, I think they're a little confused. Other than maybe they wanted to let their punter throw the football there for a first down and work on their fake punt. But you're right. It makes no sense to now try to control the clock after seemingly being okay with turning the ball over on downs.
Minute and 34 seconds left in this one. By the way, we got an update here. High school football action. We mentioned Bakersfield High School down in Mission Viejo played Orem, Utah. That was a 7-point game at halftime. And then BHS, I should say, scored just 1 touchdown in the second half while Orem went off. The final score of that game was 63-28 Orem. Garces played tonight against St. John Bosco, the same kind of Saturday high school football tournament, so to speak. And BHS had a much better day than Garces. 63-0, Garces loses to Bosco. Now, in fairness, as somebody who comes from Santa Clarita and saw a lot of Southern Section football down there, St. John Bosco is a good football program. So.
Yeah, they are, and they can pull guys from all over the valley down there, and they do. And kudos to A.J. Gass and the Garces team for accepting a challenge like that, because you play the best, and you can't do anything but get better.
Right.
And St. John Bosco is definitely one of the best. So hopefully they didn't have any injuries, and they came through that game and could build on what they learned and really go into the rest of their season in the league and compete. Because a good Garces team is good for the valley. And a good driller team, as we can see, is always good for the valley. And I know there's a lot of area teams that want to beat them, and that's what's best about it is a good high school football team like Bakersfield or Garces. When you beat them, it makes your season too.
Here's Ortiz trying to dive in for his first Renegade touchdown. He's brought down at the 2-yard line, and there's a flag.
Yeah, it's I think some shifting going on there in the backfield, or on the defense. I think Carl Dean and the offensive coaches here, one of which is our ex-chief of police. And what do you do when you retire as the chief of police in the city of Bakersfield? You go up to the college and you coach the Renegade offensive line. So, yeah, good to have Greg Williamson up here coaching the offensive line with Sergeant Frank Gonzalez. And those offensive coaches, I think they got to be pretty pleased with the weapons that they've got and what they've got going on. And they're going to, looks like, take a knee to run out the clock. And
college football update here, by the way. Fresno State won 66-0 tonight over at Incarnate Wood. And the Bulldogs get Alabama next week.
Over who?
Incarnate Wood. No idea who they are.
Yes.
Bama beats Florida State 24-7. So, it's a college football update. That's the final from here, 21-6. Bakersfield College beats the Allan Hancock Bulldogs. Back with a post-game wrap-up in Tabatha Mills with Coach Chudy. After this, BC wins its season opener, 21-6.
Season. What impresses you the most about that?
All right, welcome back here to Bakersfield College. 21-6, the final score. The Renegades win. Tabatha Mills with Coach Chudy.
You know, the second one put us in a bad spot on defense, and you know, I thought we did some really good things in the first half. You know, obviously we shut them out defensively. Offensively, we had some big chunk plays, big yardage plays. A little disappointed that adjustment-wise at halftime we didn't clean it up in the second half. We just got to look at the film and get ready for Chafee. So, you know, the great thing about this group of guys, they have a great mindset. They got a great attitude. You know, and we worked a long time preparing for this first game. And you know, these guys are a team that we'll probably never see what they do offensively. You know, we don't see too many old school goal line offenses, and that's what they did. You know, they lined up and they're going to run it, test our will, test our desire to play. And you know, I think we withheld the challenge. We withstood it all. And you know, I think again offensively we got too many weapons. You know, if we put hats on guys, those guys on the edges and at running back are going to create some big plays. So we just got to get some things cleaned up offensively. I think the turnovers were really, we can't turn it over twice in the second half. So that's we got to be better than that.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Congratulations again. Jason, back to you.
All right, Tabatha, thank you. As we come back up top here now, myself, Jason Galvin, alongside Chad Manning, 21-6. Bakersfield wins this one. They took a 21-0 lead into the half. Hancock came out, forced a turnover, went down, got a touchdown. And then it was just kind of a stalemate from there. Kind of a dull second half in this game, considering all the energy BC had in the first half. You got to wonder, Hancock, they kind of grinded it out. You get that physical style. The heat comes into play. A late start tonight, playing until almost 11 o'clock. But all in all, your impressions on this BC football team?
Yeah, I think if you look at the game as a whole, the Renegades dominated. They dominated in all three areas of the football game. The offensive side, the two quarterbacks, both of them led scoring touchdown drives. The defensive line, the defensive secondary, and the linebackers all came to play tonight, and they really did a good job stifling that Allan Hancock offense for the most part. And then the special teams, they didn't make any mistakes. They were able to pin the Hancock in their own territory when we did have to punt or kick off of the ball. And so I think the coaching staff's got to be pretty pleased. Now, there's obviously a lot of things they can work on. It is the first game of the season. Conditioning, is, as you can see in the second half there, got a little bit away from us. Tempers got away from us too, so we're going to have to control that. But all in all, I think they were excited when we came into the football game.
Right.
They should be excited leaving the football game and getting ready for Chafee next week.
Cam Roberson with a 52-yard touchdown kicked things off for the Renegades. Brandon Jones ran it in from 2 yards out. Then he found Jaquel Tomlin from 12 yards out late in the first half. That was the end of the scoring for the Renegades. Hancock got a pound-it-in touchdown run there out of Damon Whitmill in the third quarter. That was their only scoring, and then they went on and missed the extra point following a fumble. So that's how we got to our final score. In this one, the statistics on paper probably not going to overwhelm you, but a lot of things to build on heading into next week in a big road game.
Yeah, and they're going to need to build because the schedule only gets more difficult from here. And if they have any aspirations of postseason, they're going to have to put together a win after win after win. And they start next week with Chaffee on the road, and their secondary is going to be tested against that football team. They like to put it in the air, and much different than what they saw from Allan Hancock tonight.
And the Renegades return home September 16th. They'll play Riverside College here. They go on the road to Harbor on the 23rd down in Los Angeles, and then back here September 30th against El Camino, the final game before conference opens. You and I will be here for that game as well here on TV-17 and on our website, KernGoldenEmpire.com, against El Camino on September 30th, and then we'll see what happens. They get a bye week from there. Conference starts, and we'll see what happens for us. Might be here for a couple of conference games, hopefully. Maybe we're here for a big bowl game at the end of the year.
Wouldn't that be nice? But I can guarantee you, Jason, that September 30th, it will not be 110 degrees.
Man, I hope so. And if it is, then we got more problems than a football game.
We got lots of problems.
What time that's going to start. So, again, if you're just joining us, you might have missed some high school football action throughout the day. Bakersfield High School loses 63-28 to Orem down in Mission Viejo. Orem out of Utah. Garces lost 63-0 in that same tournament down there to St. John Bosco. High school football, for the most part, was canceled last night. Means there's no FFX Friday Football Extra Sunday edition tomorrow. But 17 Sports Director Nick James has our training camp special, the West Coast training camp special, taking a look at all the teams from the West Coast, the 4 California teams. The Cardinals are in there as well. I believe the Broncos are part of that. So we'll have a look at the Seahawks, the West Coast teams as they head into the NFL season, which kicks off Thursday night. The West Coast training camp special tomorrow at 6 o'clock here on KGET TV-17 with Sports Director Nick James. And then Thursday night football on NBC. The defending Super Bowl champions, Tom Brady, the ageless wonder, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Football everywhere as we head in to the season here in full swing with college going on today and the NFL starting next week. Chad, final thoughts?
Go Gades.
Go Gades. It's that simple. A great game. Great job by you, as always, my friend. Appreciate everybody's hard work in this one. For our photographers, Grant Simpson and Lee Ortlieb. Our director, Jesus Hernandez. Our executive producer tonight, Jesse Cash. Tabatha Mills down on the field. And Chad Manning up here in the booth. I'm Jason Galvin. Thank you so much for tuning in here for live Renegade football on TV-17 and KernGoldenEmpire.com. The final score from Memorial Stadium, the Bakersfield College Renegades get their season off on the right foot. They win 21-6 over Allan Hancock. Good night.